Time's up.
Here it comes.
I wonder what the championship belt would look like. Just like a big ass.
It would be my penis wrapped around their waist.
Dude, that's like a test of strength. That's not gay. That's like I'm gonna grip you. I'm gonna grip you harder than you grip me.
Adam, you being Worf is cultural appropriation. I won't.
Cultural appropriate my dick. I don't care. I will have earned my riches and my surly attitude by the time we get there.
If I were going to culturally appropriate your dick, you'd have to go get that surgery.
Oh, good Lord. Here we go.
Yeah.
I am dumping unlimited power into you.
Ooh woo.
Ooh woo.
Don't do that again.
Who just said that?
I think that's
No
Selena,
idea.
Did you just do the?
That was
did
not
you-
me.
No, that was
Selena?
Gal. I saw it. I was watching her scream when she did it.
Gal? Gal, did you ooh?
She oohed all over the place.
Who sending this one again?
This is Cloud's #1 sip, and I'm still trying to read this. So...
Ooh woo. Ooh woo.
Never gets old. I'm so proud of myself for being on. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Mellow Mondays, where we are all about spreading democracy. Even though we're not playing the game, we're still about spreading democracy. It's been a weird weekend, interesting stuff, a lot of news, but we're here to take it easy. Devil, how are you tonight?
I'm doing okay. Busy as always.
Yes, yeah. You're everybody's go-to, Devil. We need
Don't you
to
start,
rely
Sam. What the hell?
Yeah, he'll be here later. I swear to God, if he woos, that's gonna be weird. Don't do it, Samuel. Don't do it anyway. Well, that's good. I'm glad you're doing all right. I'm tired. I woke up earlier than I really wanted to this morning because I had to get the Helldiver news video done before the day dragged on. So that I wouldn't get lost, even though it didn't do that great because everybody else kind of already heard it. But I had to make it because of how I approached it and some interactions I got. But we'll get into that in a minute because hail and howdy to the chat. Hope you guys have a good Monday as we get the week started. You are welcome to hit that like button. We appreciate it. Hit the like button, guys. Share the video. And leave comments when we're done and talk it up at the chat. Always talk amongst yourselves. It's fine. Even if you don't care what we're talking about, it's good to go. Anyway, yeah. I got a couple things to talk about tonight. Though. Got a couple things, couple articles. We're gonna go over. Did you see the Superman reveal for Gunn's Superman Legacy? Did you see the suit reveal today?
I seen a lot of pictures of Superman, but I didn't see any that were
Okay.
like said this is who it's going to be.
No, we got the suit reveal today. We got our first look
Oh,
at James Gunn's Superman suit. So we're gonna look at that. A lot of reactions across the board. So we'll look at that. We got a couple of stories that I've carried over from last week, and I want to look at one announcement today about a movie that's going to happen that I'm kind of conflicted on at this point because it's been so long. We'll get to it, but we got to start here. Devil knows this is coming. He knew it was coming last night. He told me that we have to have a struggle session now because last time I Get Ranked, you guys did a classic Disney movies, and he had Kratos was running co-pilot, and the rest was I think somewhat appropriately a panel of the ladies, but them ladies was high. Them ladies was high and crazy with some of what they did, and I I was there. I was commenting as we went along while I was playing Final Fantasy 14. That's why sometimes I was intermittent what I was saying because I couldn't stop what I was doing. But man, that GOAT list after Aladdin, I at least I think if I remember correctly, 4 out of the remaining 5 that made it on the GOAT list, I have serious questions about. I don't know how Little Mermaid got in C is beyond me. That one, only Selena had a sane mind in her about a couple of those.
I'll say this. I hate to go against my panel. The panel controls the list. I don't control the list. I try not to give them flack or judge them for their opinions and their decisions, but yeah, that was probably one of the weirdest lists. I think it's some. Yeah, I can bring it up.
Yeah, bring it up. We need to see this because I don't think everybody was there that's hanging out tonight. You guys need to see this because you guys know I am a fan of old school Disney. I love Renaissance Disney, which was part of the list last night, and I was shocked by some. Now, of course, some of them are straight up opinion. Like, so there's some movies I just don't like, and I know that people do like, and I can accept some of those decisions, or a couple I didn't actually see. I can admit that too. There are a couple in there I didn't see, but here's the thing. Like we're looking at GOAT. Aladdin, that had to be up there. That was happy it got there. Mulan in GOAT, man.
Yeah,
it's an A or a B.
I told him that. I said I didn't even see it. It didn't appeal to me at all. But
Yeah.
Gal's mad at me because of that, I guess.
I have it. I mean, it's in my Renaissance Disney collection, and it's good, but it's not Aladdin tier.
Well, it's at some point it seems like they just didn't like the judging criteria I gave them. They weren't using that well. Like, okay, let's take Little Mermaid. They put it in C. Gal didn't like. Well, that's not what the
She
criteria.
bullied them into C. She bullied them.
Yeah,
into C.
judging criteria was the protagonist, the antagonist, the overall story, and the music. Let's just break down Little Mermaid. Overall story. You can dislike the story, but it's not a bad story. So let's just say it's a B. Let's say it's a B.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, okay.
Protagonist. You don't like Ariel. She's still a princess. She's still, there's nothing wrong with her. It's not like they made her into a wimp.
Yeah.
So okay, let's say she's a B. As far as antagonist, Ursula's a great villain.
Yeah.
She's one of the most popular of the villains. So we'd have to say she's A or S on that. Then the music. It's some of the most iconic Disney music there is.
Yes. When I was a kid, every single girl was doing the Ariel humming, the Ariel tune, the they were doing that for weeks.
Yeah.
When I was a kid. And then
so
the
it has
songs are iconic.
Yeah, so that has to be A or S. So if we take 2 Bs and 2 say S's, you would average it out to being in A at least. Instead, it's in C. Like it was just a complete utter shit movie, and that just made no sense to me.
It doesn't. Yeah. Well, again, and she's gonna yell at me at some point when she hears this.
I'm sure she will.
I
She'll
don't
me
care.
too.
Hey, listen. You know what? I could just ooh woo. Yeah, whatever. But Ariel is not a little bitchy little girl princess. Yes, she's 16, but she's a complete character. She goes through it, and she is still struggling between her emotions for her love for her father, her family, and her world, but her desire to go beyond what she is because she sees the human world and Eric and wants that love because she's not going to find that love under the sea. And it's a romance. It's a romance story. And they're great. And Eric is one of the best male princes ever, honestly, because he's not just there to swashbuckle and fight the dragon like you guys talked about in Sleeping Beauty. Doesn't just show up, doesn't just sing a song to Snow White in the garden. Eric has a full fleshed out personality. He has his own hopes and dreams and desires. And when it comes to the final battle, he kills Ursula. He steers a ship into her chest with the the mast, or he not the mast. I'm sorry, with the bow of the ship. He just boom stabs her,
Yeah.
and that's awesome.
And with all the other ones, the princes take the princesses because they're considered perfect, like Snow White. She's supposed to be the most fairest of them all, the most beautiful. Of course, the prince chose her. He chose the babyest chick in the fucking kingdom, right? With Aurora. Of course, he goes and saves her. He was promised to her when they were children, not to mention she's a fox.
Yeah.
In that one, she's flawed. She can't speak. He still doesn't know that she can't speak when he falls in love with her. So he's fallen in love with a flawed woman who isn't perfect, even though he's the prince and he could have any woman he wants. So it did have a more wholesome story than I think they gave it credit for. But like I said, it's just, I don't know. Like I said, even if you graded it lower on other stuff and it averaged out to a B, I'd have been like, I want to put in B, but I would have understood it. But C, literally one above D,
Yeah.
the shit line,
They-
that makes no sense.
I feel as though
makes no sense.
when they were throwing these out here, they didn't take into account what us uber veterans of the show try to do and realize there are heavy hitters coming down the line, and you
Yeah.
have to realize how these things line up
Yeah.
and are going to work there. And Legatus, listen, dude, you're heartless. You have no soul. Okay, it's
Yeah.
established.
What's wrong
Legatus
with
has
you?
no soul.
But
He's dead. He's dead inside. Anyway, but yeah, so I don't. That baffled me. That to me is the biggest crime on this list. That Little Mermaid's in C.
yeah,
And the rest of Goat. I mean, listen, I said it in the chat. What is it? The llama one, the groove one.
yeah.
Emperor's Groove. That movie is basically a meme fest. That's all it is for modern day world. It's just a meme fest. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It should not be in Goat. I can't speak on Atlantis. I actually never saw Atlantis, so can't speak on that. Lion King worked. Listen, I made the joke. We all made the joke at the same time. Robin Hood training camp for furries.
I'll say this. I think that sometimes panels will just start going off of what they like and not so much the judging criteria. I appreciate that when you're on panel, you always say this. You say, I have to take my personal feelings aside of it. Going on the judging criteria, it belongs in A, it belongs in B or whatever, even if you hate the thing.
Yeah.
Because that's what you have to do. You're there to use the judging criteria and then say, okay, from that criteria, here's where I think it should. Of course, your personal opinion is always going to come into it because that is how you view it. Yeah. But like I said, for her to say, I don't like Little Mermaid, so Mermaid belongs in C was, like I said, kind of a cop out. But I can't.
You can't fight it.
Yeah. If people are decide to do that with the list, I can't sit there. I'm not gonna sit there and like berate them or chastise them on the screen. I'm gonna be like, you guys do the list your way. If it's wrong, then but it's your list. It's your list to do wrong.
Then they have to suffer the repercussions when one of us drags into a struggle session at some point during the week. And now, I mean, in the chat, we all have our own opinions, and we're just screaming and shouting. I mean, I don't think Sword of the Stone belongs in A because it's one of the worst Arthurian adaptations ever.
Oh yeah, I'd have probably had it in probably C, to be honest. Treasure Planet and Atlantis, I'd probably had in C2. Robin Hood, I would have knocked that down to a B. I do not in any way think it's GOAT in any shape or form.
While it follows the sort of original story of Robin Hood well, it leans too much into the silly at times. I know it's made for kids, but the anthropomorphization, and also I living in the world we live in now, I really do see it as a furry training. I mean, I said it last night in the chat. I said I realized at that point, wait a minute, are they trying to make me attracted to Lady Marian Fox Girl? Are they trying to make me attracted to her? Because I feel like they are, and it's not working for me. So I know I'm not into furries. At a young age, I wasn't into furries. I know I would be controversial about Hunchback of Notre Dame because I was never really into it, but I know some people swear by it.
I still say Dermy's a fucking furry for his love of cow outfits. It's just
that cowgirl thing that you did miss, thankfully, them making AI songs about cowgirls.
We had the same argument on freaking the pub. I told everybody, I said there's
Oh, it
some
probably
things.
followed over there. It bled over to there.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I was sitting there telling about how because it was the uwu, it was after the uwu thing, and I said there's certain things that I don't find attractive. I don't like them. I think they're kind of stupid and just unappealing. One of them is the uwu. Two is this like freaking meta of girls wearing cow outfits. I get it, milk, okay, great, but it's not sexy even a little bit. And
Yeah.
of course, Shock and Dermy were all like, "Oh, but it's so I love it," and so yeah, I guess it carried over there. But it's I don't like it. I just
Yeah, listen. I'm not into cat girls. Yes, I'm okay, but it's got to be human form cat girls where they're basically mostly human and just maybe have cat ears and a tail. I can live with that. It's the anime guy in me,
yeah,
but the cow thing.
yeah.
Mm,
But
mm.
bunnies, cats,
Bunny
okay.
girls. Bunny
Yeah,
girls.
put on
Yeah,
put on cat ears, put on bunny ears. Fine.
It's if you
but
still mostly have human. If it's all human features otherwise, which
yeah,
most things it is, then hey, you're fine because they're not actual furries. They don't have fur. Their ears are part of their hair, and then the only other furry thing is the tail. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that
maybe
because you're getting over the demon girl. She's got a tail too. So
yeah, maybe it's growing up in a rural area, seeing all there's nothing sexy about a cow, people. Not even
no,
in any way. They
oh
are
God,
ugly ass
no,
fucking animals. They shit all over the place.
dude.
They smell like crap.
Dude,
What's
I spent
sexy about that?
there was a period of my time where every summer I went down to my stepdad's cattle and hay farm and cattle ranch, and I spent the summer around those creatures. Cows are disgusting. I've
Yeah.
seen them piss and shit at the same time, and then walk around the pool,
And
and
Dermy's all like, ooh.
then they roll around in it, and they make noise, and they're dumb, and oh God, I mean, a calf can be cute for about 5 minutes until it kicks you in the knee, and he's like, "Fuck you, get away from me! I will turn you into veal."
Yeah. There was also something else. I can't remember what. There was three things I pointed out, and then of course the chat berated me the whole time for him. D-Day Direwolf like changed his avatar to a girl in anime girl in a freaking cow costume, and
Oh jeez.
memes ensued. It's and then somehow I ended up with a meme where I'm a fucking e-girl, and he thought it
What?
was yeah. I could bring it up. Oh God,
Bring it up.
I
I mean,
put on there.
I was asleep, so I didn't see any of this. So
I put it on there that should I drop down the list now?
yeah, take that. We're good. Anyway, the girls are wrong. We need to do a fresh panel and get it right.
Yeah, somewhere along the
God damn it,
way.
Samuel. God damn it, Samuel.
What's he doing?
Look what he said.
Oh, I can't see. I'm
He
looking
says,
for the
Dermy
picture.
also likes butt fucking.
Yeah, it's very true. Very true. You can't trust Dermy.
No.
God, I have to go all the way down.
I just want to remind everybody, because I didn't say it enough this weekend. May 4th is not Star Wars Day. Star Wars Day is in 24 days. So that'll be real for Star Wars Day. Just reminding everybody. That's why I have the screen up tonight. But yeah, I don't get the cowgirl thing. Well, you know what I think is too? It's like with Bug and the Spider Girl thing. I don't get that either. Now, of course, I'm arachnophobe, so I'm definitely not going to get that. But or like Snake Girls, like when they do there's this show, Monster Museum, an old anime, which is just full on. It's mostly tits and ass or monster girl tits. I was not into that show, even with the titties. Like, yeah, no, I'm not into this. Monster girls, no. Don't want the spider chick. Don't want the snake chick. Don't want the don't want this. Don't want that. No, I don't want any of that.
Girl on a little sad devil horns does do something for me though.
Demon girl. That's different. Demon girls, succubi are different. Succubi are there to listen. In order to get their sustenance, they have to pleasure you. So it's part of the deal. You just have to cut them off before they drain you dry.
Here's the horrifically horrid picture.
Okay. Oh my.
Yeah. God, I'm making ugly assy girl. You don't want my bath water?
No, I don't want your underwear. I don't want your bath water.
Yeah.
I don't want any of that. No, let's get that out of there. No, good
Yeah.
lord. Who made that?
Oh, I think Skirmitar.
Okay.
Skirmy. He.
God,
Yeah. Oh.
only I it required Engage for me to get memed because that's the only time I step in it when we were on Engage. The only time I step in. Otherwise, I keep myself out of memeable areas. So there's not much to meme me on unless I was a red shirt or Kenzo had to just ruin my Dr. Crusher fantasies, which have been restored, by the way. Watching TNG has restored my Dr. Crusher fantasies. I was shut up, Legatus. But so I listen. If I do something stupid, I'm happy to get memed. But I notice I don't get memed very often because I guess I haven't done. I haven't. There's not. I can't really think of anything I've done to really meme me on outside of Red Shirt. Is there in the history so far since all this stuff we've been doing? Can't really think of anything.
Yeah.
Mm.
I've just recently been making mistakes. As a memer, I should know better. You don't tell people what you don't like and what
Yeah.
bothers you. You keep that shit to yourself.
It's like we tell Cloud, don't tell us shit.
Yeah.
Tell us these things.
Sometimes I get too comfortable with my chat and I let shit slip, and then they of course make me pay for it. So
See, I guess well, you know what? Maybe I do have the meme. I mean, I have to deal with the boomer meme all the time, but I just get called a boomer. I don't actually. It's just like the verbal meme, not so
Yeah.
much visual part of it. Because I boomer shit all the time. But I don't know. But memes are good. Memes are good. Memes keep us honest. Memes keep us from getting big heads, and it reminds us, dude, we are the same as everybody else out there. I mean, listen, I would say a good 60% of the fellowship is built off a meme mentality with how all
Mm.
this shit works, and it's fine, it's good. It connects us with the chats because most of us are still in the chat for a lot of those things. Connects us with everybody having fun, and it's good, jokey fun. It's the way it works, and whenever you see good memeing, it's a reminder that we have a sense of humor and the people who are memeing us have a sense of humor and the other side can't meme.
Yeah.
They can't do it on me. They'll take one of our old memes and they try and repurpose it. I mean, I showed this one. I think when did I show it? I don't think I have it anymore. But you know the meme with the two astronauts and the guy says something and the guy holding guns as it always was. You know that one, right?
Yeah. The space.
And
space
I spotted one. I think it was on Friday, and it was there was that one, and it had every famous Star Trek ship in the
Mhm.
space around the Earth, and it was Star Trek was always woke and progressive. It's like, oh, shut the fuck up.
Jeez. They when they first big meme last year, maybe 2 years ago, Dark Biden, the glowy eyes Biden.
Yeah.
And they're all like, look, he's taking it back, and Joe Biden making all his jokes that were written for him, trying to make a joke about it. And I'm all like, no, because what's going to happen is it's going to take a very short period of time, and then somehow they're going to fuck it up. And then Mark Hamill had to hold up a freaking Dark Biden head and say, I'm voting for Joby-Wan Kenobi. There's when they destroyed it. Thank you. Goodbye, you dumb
And let's
shits.
be honest, you can't take back a meme. You can't really take it back. The best you can do is lean into it.
Yeah. All you can do is kill it. That's all it is. If you start to try to take the meme and take it as yours, then what you do is you take the fun out of it, you kill it, and so fine, you killed the meme. We'll just come up with another one.
Yeah.
But but they were seen there talking about like selling bumper stickers with Dark Biden on it, but for pro Biden and stuff. And I'm all like, dude, that's not. You didn't take the meme. You just made it cringe now. Thanks. You're helping us clean out our closet. That's what you're doing. You're helping us clean out the old memes for new ones. It's not like you're gonna save yourself here.
Yeah, and it's basically I would say every month it's basically, okay, what's the new meme template that's going to drop?
Yep.
And now of course it's up to us not to work it too hard. is the best way to
Yeah.
put it. We don't use it too much. Doing that. I mean, I'm not really a memer. Once in a while, I'll try one for my own purposes, for a video or a quick little post if I want to try and do something. But I will instantly run into the ground because I think I'm so full of myself. Like, I'm so happy I made this, and like, no, just stop. No, I have to pull the plug. Get away from it now. After about 2 days, I just don't do it anymore. I have to tell myself not to do it.
You have to have spastic autism to be a memer. And that's kind of why I stopped doing it for the most part, because you have to like be sitting there all the time, hyper focused, trying to find something you can make into something funny and shit. And it just, yeah, after a while, I was all like, man, I need to relax.
I mean,
and
the
instead I became a
best
streamer.
the best hey, streaming is easy. It's fun. It's not hard. And it's a great way to relax and hang out. And I love it. Even though I'll admit this every time, and I've told everybody this. This is not as true. Every time before a stream starts, I'm sitting here going, please don't fuck up today. Please don't fuck up today. Don't let the stream be a piece of shit. Please go good. Please go well. It never ends. You're always gonna feel nervous before every single stream. But once you're in it and things are going, it becomes you remember, oh, everything's normal. Everything's
Yeah.
fine.
Leading a stream is so much harder than being on panel. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
I can sit on other people's panels, talk, no problem, no sweat, no problem. My shows, I sit there and my brain gets so flustered. You can see that it's two totally different interactions with the crowd, the chat when I'm on somebody's stream or when I'm actually running my stream.
Yeah. For me, I've been herding cats in MMOs for years, so I just turn on that little switch in my brain. Okay, treat everybody like a cat who's not going to do what you want them to do, and that's how you gotta just herd the cats, keep it going, keep them interested, and also part of the streams also is having the right combination of people on.
Yeah.
Sometimes some people are going to work well together, sometimes others won't, and there's the occasion sometimes where you don't know two people maybe beefing, and suddenly you drop them on streams like, oh shit, I got to deal with that now. Whoops, I didn't intend that to happen. But it's fun, and that's why I like making videos. I like streaming, and it's usually through that where I get my kind of. I guess I guess I clip meme is what I do, because I'll take what we do on one of the streams, what like if it's the woo thing or the old Big Daddy stuff and that like that, and I will pull that out and I will do these quick little zoom cuts to everybody's reaction to that and what they're saying. That's my extent, or I'll use it for myself in a video. Where I mean, I did it today with the Helldivers 2 news because I had a couple people who went at me last week because I tried to be objective about the whole thing. You know, I just wanted to say, hey, here's what was bad, here's how it's going, and shaming Sony talking about it is one of the best things we can do. Talk about it. And a couple of guys came and said, "Oh yeah, talking. Oh, what's that gonna do? Oh, you're gonna do anything? You need to shut up." And I got to come back at them last night saying, so yeah, it looks like my talking strategy worked. And what I did, of course, then is I get to take their thing, put it up on screen. I get to make a funny voiceover of it, and then I get to mock them. That's I guess that's my level of meaning. That's about as far into memeing as I go with clips and cuts and quick splash page, and then I get into the conversation part of it. But the memeing, you're right. Memeing is you're either a memer or you're not.
Yeah.
And thankfully, the people on our side are the memers, and they're good at it when they go at it, and the other side is not. But speaking of the Helldivers thing, here's our first topic tonight. I want to talk about this, not the Helldiver situation itself, because that is essentially over, and you can watch my video. You can watch everybody's discussions, and we'll go over it again at the end of the week when we see how it all played out this week, how everything happened, how people were feeling. What I want to talk about, and Devil, I want your opinion on this because we've gone through a couple of these things. We went through with Fallout, a couple of things. People's reaction to the Helldiver situation. And I know one could say, Adam, it's the internet. People are going to do this, do that. But I kind of feel as though there's a certain level of culture warrior disingenuous action taken in situations like this because Sony had a bad week last week when they did when first was Stellar Blade and then something else with another game and anime, and then the Helldivers thing was a capper. And people, I feel, just wanted to hate Sony for the sake of hating Sony in some cases and be angry about it. And they kept lumping it all together, saying, "Oh, you've been screwed for Stellar Blade, and you've been screwed on Helldivers," or getting up on the soapbox and criticizing people like me who just wanted to have an objective conversation and make sure that people were being angry for the legitimate right reasons that they were angry about and not conflate the issues. And I feel as though it's back to the old hypersensitivity issue that we've gone over with other things. People are so instantly triggered in a situation that they launch into hyperbolic reactions. And it that bothers me a little because then it drowns out the legitimate side of the conversation where we're trying to get to the root of it and understand why people are angry and what is the real focus and the problem.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about that overall? Winding up everything, not just the Helldivers thing, because lately it's been happening a lot, as far as I see.
Yeah, it has been. I do think that we have fallen into that where we are being overly sensitive. I noticed that when what was it? We were having one of our friends was getting in fights with other people over what was it? Was
Fallout, I think. Right?
Yeah, Fallout. Yeah, shit, my brain. Yeah, and stuff like that. It's you can like it or you can dislike it. You don't have to like it. You don't have to dislike it. We're just here to give our opinion. You can agree with it or not agree with it. And now we've gone into this thing where we're starting to peer test each person. It seems like on a lot of this stuff where we're all like, oh, so you're one of the ones who don't dislike it. Everyone.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, what, when do we become those assholes? Just say, okay, you like it, great. Yeah.
The problem is, I think it's the pendulum. It's swinging back, and it's the fear that we've had for a long time. As the pendulum swings back, we're pushing too hard, and we're gonna try and overcorrect to try and get things back to normal. And if we're having normally different opinions, which we all have, and we normally have our arguments, but some people are having trouble with, as I put it, getting to the heart of a matter. Like with Helldivers, the heart of the matter of that whole problem was the fact that Sony didn't put it up front that they were going to do the PlayStation Network gatekeeping thing. And at the last minute, after 4 months, suddenly it's going to happen. And it's as though you're taking the power away from the people who have already paid for the game and are playing it. And that was the core of the issue. It was about not being upfront.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with censorship. It had nothing to do with ideology, even. It was simply bad management of the company and bad management of the game. And people were suddenly trying to conflate it. And it didn't help then that the Arrowhead community managers, or Arrowhead's the company, Arrowhead community managers, they stirred up shit on the actual closer to political agenda stuff, and the CEO didn't help by being an idiot at times. So everything got conflated, and it was hard for people to, at least for my perspective, for people to understand, why are you so angry? You're angry that Sony wasn't upfront with you, and then you're angry if you're a PC player that you have to be involved with Sony at all. And that is a legitimate thing. PC players don't want to be involved with consoles or anything related to it. And we get now to the situation where, because now we have a legitimate comparison of how to deal with this. Ghost of Tsushima is going to be released soon on PC. And people were wondering since yesterday or since early this morning, all day now, will Sony be upfront with the PlayStation Network requirement for that? And they've just announced it a little while ago, or a little earlier this evening, that the single player game will not require PlayStation Network access or account. But if you want to play the online part of Ghost of Tsushima, you will require that. I mean, Devil, now that they put it up front, should anybody have a problem with that if they're making it up front?
No. If they're gonna be, long as they're up front with it, you take it or leave it. Don't buy the game if you don't like it. That's how we're gonna change this shit. Is we're not going to buy the games every time they do this. They're going to realize that they can't sit there and freaking stick their thumbs up our asses every time we fucking purchase these games and use us like puppets that just keep paying out. It was one of my problems with what was that one that came out not too long ago. Everyone was excited about it. Ended up they have to fix it. Dermy played like one. No, the one where you create the characters to fight alongside you. Dragon Dogma or no Dragon?
Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah, Dragon Dogma. Yeah, like that, where everyone was talking about, well, yeah, you can get the crystals just by playing. It's not a big deal, but that's not what they're trying. They're going to make it harder to get the crystals so that you end up purchasing and spending more money. I was talking about how that's going to be the next thing. You're going to have a game that costs $80. After you purchase the $80 game, you're going to have to buy the monthly Game Pass, which is going to be another.
Well, I asked.
Yeah, he kind of just went out for me.
Oh, you were roboting for a second there. It was.
Oh, yeah. You cut out. I don't know if it was me or you.
I think it was you because you roboted for a second there.
Yeah, then it probably was me.
Well, what I was saying is, I was talking to the Helldivers players who are now ready to go back in, but before that, it was. You spend the $40 and there's a lot of additional money is already spent on it. Like it's not pay to win, but it's paid. It was the way I think we came to a term on that was pay for quality of life improvement in some areas and with Helldivers too. But you're absolutely right. If it's upfront, it's fine, but we shouldn't take it when they screw us over. And that's my whole point of this. We didn't take it. It was a combination of a lot of things. The attempts at refunds, even though I don't think any of the refunds actually ever went through because no one could confirm throughout the whole thing if anything went through. The refund thing, but it was the threat of the refund, which actually would have been really hard. But then there was the social media shaming, the public shaming. And then there was the discussion, which I think is what really did it, because you had a combination of that, which kind of rolls into also the changing of reviews on Steam. It was too much for Sony to handle. They lost complete control of the situation because it was all social media was talking about for literally 72 hours. Just about it was all they were talking about. Every major stream of pop culture, it was the number one topic, and it was important to show that you can't take the power of a gamer away, and we will push back when we do it. And in my opinion, you have to do all the things. Request your refund or don't buy it. But those two things are or at least one of them. The choosing not to buy it, I categorize that as kind of a silent party move where it's a silent action. You're not going to feel that immediately, but the talking about it, that was powerful. And real quick, Sam 1000 for $2. I just started Shogun 2024 show. I love it. You have to watch it. I'm planning on it. My mom watched it. She loved every minute of it. She's actually going to go back and read Shogun to match it up. So it's on my list of things to do, but I have a lot of other things that I am watching at the moment. And so I can't actually get to it, but it is on my list of things to watch. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Sam 1000. Thank you for the $2.
Yeah.
But the conversation, I think, is what did it the most. And that was why I felt vindicated when people were criticizing me for saying, oh, you just want to talk. You just want to talk about it. What's that going to do? What's that going to do? Oh, we're going to go do our own thing. One guy said to me in response to me, he said, well, I'm going to get with my friends and we're going to make our own thing. I'm like, you know what? And I said to myself, well, gee, that's great. But how's that fix anything in the here and now? Because if you start tomorrow and you have any knowledge of Unreal Engine 5 and you start making something, your game's 4 years away, minimum. You're not getting anything out now. So great, down the line, make your own thing. But how does that help the conversation in the moment? If you're just grandstanding and soapboxing, or the people who grandstanded, I mean, Devil, all over X Twitter, where people going grandstanding about this. Oh, you're getting through this and getting into fights over the wrong parts, as I saw it, of the conversation. And that didn't help anything. And then there were the people who were trying to tell, then there was the disingenuous ones on the other side going, oh, why can't you just make an account just 120 seconds? The problem is the water gets muddied so quickly, and it's hard to have the real conversation and know who's being genuine about their opinion about the whole thing and who actually wants to have a solution found. I mean, before this all happened, I was talking with Static about this, and he agreed with me. One of the best ways, if this didn't go down the way it went down this today, would have been for Arrowhead to say, "Okay, just apologize, say we're sorry, and give everybody some free shit. Give everybody some free shit to make them happy, to smooth it over in the time being. In fact, they probably should still give them some free shit, in my opinion."
I don't know because I saw somebody was mentioning the numbers, and like I said, they could be completely wrong, but
Mhm.
supposedly after they dropped the news, their player base dropped 2/3
Static
of
was listing me some numbers last night.
yeah.
See, he looked into
And
that. Yeah.
if that happened, any devs are gonna shit their pants. If you
Mhm.
lose 2/3 of your player base overnight like that,
Yeah.
the fans are telling you something. So I wasn't 100% surprised when they turned it back. I thought it would take a little longer because
I
usually they have to get a bunch of heads in a row before they make changes like that. But
I
yeah,
didn't think it was going to happen. I thought Sony would kind of just write it out, and Arrowhead would have to do some more damage control. And if anything would even start to change, it was going to take 2 or 3 more days from now. But when it happened at midnight yesterday or this morning, bam, we were all surprised. I mean, Static, we're all sitting there playing 14, and Static says, "Oh, guys, wait a minute, it's over." We're like, what do you mean it's over? Sony, they reversed it. We're like, what? What? And he said, "Yeah, PlayStation Twitter just announced it." We all went there. I'm like, "Holy shit. Wow." And then we kind of just we were in a daze for like 30 minutes trying to understand, okay, people won.
Mm.
Gamers won. And it's a win. It's a win, but with the victory comes diligence and vigilance. Diligence and vigilance. You got to be diligent about making sure that Sony follows through on their promise to correct their mistakes. But then you got to be vigilant and you got to look out for what's going to come down the road. I mean, talk about Ghost of Tsushima, but there's no thing there because now Sony's playing by the rules of everybody else. Now they're going to be like Microsoft, they'll be like Ubisoft, EA, every other major dev who requires you to sometimes log in through an account. Again, I mean, you and I, whenever we play State of Decay 2, we have to log in through an MSN account if we want to play.
Mhm.
I can't even turn the game on without it. At least on PC, I can't do it. But I want, and I know what, maybe I'm being naive. Maybe it's the adult in me because a lot of these people are goddamn children. Uh, I, I I try not to lose my shit over these situations, and it bugs me when people lose their shit and they don't take the time to have the objective conversation, and they just want to have their rage conversation either for clicks or engagement. I don't know. Maybe I'm not cut out for some of the YouTube stuff that makes you, or social media stuff that gets you noticed because I want to behave calm and collected.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I don't know. I'm glad everybody got this win though. I got to say I'm especially glad for Cloud because he just bought the game as this went down, and we could all kind of hear it in his voice how broken he was over it. It's like, oh man, I just
Mhm.
got the game. So glad Cloud can play with Dermy, and Dermy can shoot him in the back of the head in the game now instead of shooting somebody else in the back of the head. Oh man, yeah, and I want I would love to go back to a period of time where we all just played our games and shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I would love that. Well, I would love to not worry about people whining and complaining about this or that with the game, and that goes for the people who make the games too. Don't talk about your game. Don't promise us the moon and deliver us a cow pie. You know.
Well, that's exactly it. I wish game developers would get back to just focusing on making a really good game.
Mhm.
Uh, that was the big worry when you made a game every year was just that it was going to be good enough to get the fans and stuff. Uh, now it's politics. It's
Yeah.
the message. It's the devs, certain devs, seeing they're picking fights with the fans because of the stuff. Yeah, it's just totally muddied. It used to be you just when you heard about a game, you said, "Oh God, I can't
I
wait to
can't
see
wait.
player
I can't
footage,"
wait.
you know?
I'm
And
so excited. I'm ready for
yeah,
this. I mean, we should not be in a place, and I know this is rehashing it over and over again, but it fits perfectly what we're talking about. I should not be worried about Dragon Age 4. I shouldn't
yep,
be worried about it.
yep,
I should be excited, but I'm not. I'm scared.
yeah.
Scared to my bones.
That might be the only game I buy this year, to be honest. I've I've come to a conclusion that I just have to. I'm trying to accomplish a lot of stuff this year,
Yeah.
and I think games are going to be are a really big drag against that. So I've decided I'm just like there's so many I've wanted to play, and I'm just
Mhm.
gonna put that all aside. But Dragon Age might be the one if it's good. Like I said, I'm not gonna buy it till I
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
words from other people. But
Well, I
that
think
might
it's
be the one.
October. And,
Yeah,
and I will tell you right away how it's going. And I bet Samuel will get his hands on it too,
yeah.
because he'll wanna test it out. And I shouldn't be afraid of it though. And I am. I don't want to be. But I mean, right now, honestly, at this point, with the exception of getting once I have the budget for it, and I don't need the I get enough money set aside by June to get Dawn Trail for Final Fantasy 14, the next expansion.
Hmm.
I got nothing else to get on my list. Nothing that can't wait until November and Black Friday or Cyber Monday when deals might happen. Nothing that can't wait till that point. Because at this point, I mean, I needed to get Stellar Blade at the start because I was really excited to play it as kind of an action RPG type of thing. I was really excited to play it, and it's as good as I hoped it would be from a gameplay standpoint and a quality of life game standpoint and a story. It's a fun game. I'm enjoying every minute of it. Is it going to be a super long game? No, I'm already 55% done, and I'm coming up on 40 hours of playtime. So with maximizing, I'll probably finish it some point later this week, probably top out between 50 and 60 hours. Now, considering what it is, I think that's a fair. If I get 40 to 60 hours on this type of game, that's fair. I get my money's worth. I've done it. And it's got a new game plus, which opens up or other features. So there is that. It does have replay value. But other than that, I can't think of anything. Okay, I take it back. I did make one purchase yesterday. May the 4th is good for one goddamn thing. Steam sales on Star Wars games. It's good for one thing only. And I did buy Empire at War. I repurchased that. I haven't had that since the mid 20 aughts. Oh, that's a good game. I will play that on stream. And it was so much fun to build fleets in Star Wars. It's the best fleet management game in Star Wars ever, in my opinion. There's never been one that topped it. And even had a good kind of almost RTS type of situation on the ground because you can fight in space and on the planet. There are different things you can do. So I will play that on stream because that's old. That's essentially retro gaming is what that is. I'll play that. But aside from now Stellar Blade and Final Fantasy 14 and the expansion for that, I got nothing else. I got enough of a backlog of personal games I can play privately. I got stuff I can always replay for the other gaming channel. And I got to be honest, the other gaming channel, it's growing really slow. So with the exception of Stellar Blade, there's nothing really. I shouldn't really be buying games to try and get a return on investment with the channel there because I'm not going to. It's not going to. I'm doing it to kind of try and grow the channel, but I think going forward for a while, once I'm past Stellar Blade, it's about playing older games, I think, in my collection or things that are in my backlog that can still be played and stuff like that. No more new games because I can't honestly also I can't keep up with it both from spending and also if it's a Steam game, my computer generally can't handle most of those games. So it's a kind of no point in it. So I'm good like you. I'm the next game I not counting Dawn Trail. Next game I probably legitimately will buy in the moment because you said yourself, people are going to require a take on it. Will be Dragon Age 4 in October.
Yeah.
So that will be the thing. Other than that, I've already got a small backlog of wish list buy games that I'll get in like Black Friday. It'll keep till then. But it's a shame. You're absolutely right. It's a shame that we have to even think about agenda being driven into anything anymore. And hail everybody coming in the chat. Hail Clifton coming in. Hail Jaden Hamilton. How are you guys doing tonight? Hit the like button, guys. Hit the like button with the algorithm we're doing. All right, let's go into one of our first things right here. All right, I'm gonna save. I think I might save the Superman thing till Samuel gets here, because that could be one. So I'm gonna bring up this one. We mentioned Robin Hood when we were talking about the Disney movies, and this came across my wire on Friday. So I've been sitting on this one for a few days, and this is one of those situations where you ask, "What the hell? Why do this?" So apparently, Hugh Jackman will play a battle-worn Robin Hood grappling with his life of crime in a new movie. Why? Well, I don't see the point of this kind of movie. Why are we tearing apart the legend of Robin Hood? I don't get it, Devil. I don't get it. This is dumb.
Yeah.
I want Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. I want a movie like that. I don't want Hugh Jackman, Robin going, "Oh my God, I'm stealing from people. Oh, it hurts my soul."
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I wonder, it depends, because I can see that might be able to work, except for, they're gonna fuck it up. Like, it's one thing for Robin Hood to be a little troubled by, because obviously at certain points he's gonna kill people and stuff because people don't like to just surrender their wealth.
Well, he's killing soldiers who are guarding the
Yeah.
wealth. Yeah.
And so I get, being troubled by that. If you're a human, you probably would. But if they're gonna have it where he's like fucking, not being able to sleep at night and just like overblown, and it's just gonna get so I don't know. Like I said, I'm not against the idea right off the bat. I just think
But
they're
this
gonna
is
fuck it up real bad.
2024. And they say I don't like this tagline right here. The death of Robin Hood will focus on the titular character as he grapples with his past after a life of crime and murder. As the tagline title imply, this one will be a much darker take on the previous adaptations of the English folklore, such as the adaptation Disney release, which you mentioned in 1973. And Disney Jackman actress Jodie Comer, I don't know who that is. Do you know who that is?
No.
That is attached to co-star for the film. Those specifics of her role have yet to be revealed. Comer, who's just known for her role in TV series Killing Eve. Oh, so she's a part of that horrible network of shows. Ugh. I just Robin Hood is a folk tale that has been to inspire standing up to injustice.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be they're deconstructing a hero again.
Yeah.
It's just, and that's the problem is, yeah. Well, they had there. Frank Precious, you're right. There was the old man. There was Robin, and it was Robin and Marion, starring Sean Connery, and I forget who Marion was at this point. I don't remember. I think I saw it partially once a very very long time ago, and that's kind of later on. I don't really remember it that well, but that is like older Robin Hood, and still, honestly, even though Kevin Costner couldn't even pull off the English accent when he tried for like 5 minutes in the beginning of the movie, Robin and Prince of Thieves is still one of the best adaptations of
Oh
it.
yeah. It's still, I watch it still to this day. I
I'll
think
watch
it's
it once a
great.
year. I'll watch
I
it once a
thought the
year.
Russell Crowe one was okay, but it wasn't nowhere as good.
No. I mean, now I have my copy there. I actually kind of don't like my copy because it's the director's cut copy. And
Mhm.
have you ever seen the director's cut of Prince of Thieves?
No.
What the director's cut, it's essentially the same movie, but they added more Alan Rickman sheriff scenes in there.
Oh.
And some of them are really great, but then some of them kind of ruin some of the moments in the movie in terms of some of the background kind of hinting at maybe magic going on with the witch. So it's good on a couple scenes, but then a couple things that ruins it. So one of these days, I would like to get it, but I want to get the not director's cut because I prefer one of those rare times I prefer the theatrical cut to the director's cut. But it's still great. It's still fantastic. And I mean, I remember when I went and saw Prince of Thieves the first time. We're all in the theater, and it's the end of the movie, and Robin and Marion are getting married, and Tuck goes, "Is anybody? If anybody doesn't want this marriage, please speak up now." And you hear "Hold," and then suddenly, bam! There's Sean Connery as King Richard. Dude, the theater erupted with cheers when they saw Sean Connery as King Richard. It was freaking cool, and
Yeah.
that ain't gonna happen now. There's nothing. They can't pull that off. That kind of feeling off in a movie like this.
Yeah.
And I miss that excitement. I mean, we talk about movies like this where they do this stuff. I miss the excitement of being of a new movie coming out. When was the last time you felt excited about a movie, though?
Oh shit. I don't know.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't want to say I was excited to go see Mario last year, but that's as close as I came to any sort of feeling because nothing. I mean, some people. I mean, take Dune for example. Everybody was excited for Dune. I wasn't. We've been over this many times because of my history as a book reader, so I wasn't excited for that.
Yeah, I think you're right, Clifton. Probably the last one was Maverick because I remember when they first announced Maverick way back when, and they said that they were going to change the jacket because of China and take the Taiwan flag off of it, and I said, "Oh, it's fucked, fuck that" type thing. And then when they actually came out and Tom Cruise said, "Nope, we're not going to change it. That fucking patch is still going to be on there. I don't give a shit." It made me actually go, oh, now I'm a little bit excited that this might actually turn out to be what we wanted. And I actually really enjoyed that movie. So yeah, I think probably was Top Gun because I actually went and literally saw it in theater, even though I have to drive an hour and some odd minutes back both ways to go see in the theater.
Yeah, I remember the days of being excited for an MCU movie. It's like, oh damn, that's what gets me out of the house. Let's put my butt in the seat. But I can't think of anything that I've been excited. Everything I've had to watch has been for garbage take reasons. I gotta watch this so I can talk about it. Nothing has been. There's no excitement anymore, and there's no excitement coming down the line because there's no creativity left. They're not making anything fun anymore. And we're going to talk about it in a little bit. I'm not excited for James Gunn's Superman.
Well, it's just like you pointed out, freaking, or we talked about. I don't know if it was it last week or the week before, the Mufasa movie.
Last week. That was last week, yeah.
Yeah, Disney doing exactly what they did before. I don't know if people remember, but back before they started doing all the live action shit, they were doing no more new ideas for like actual stories, or like maybe they would give you one a year or whatever. It was always reruns from like their way old stuff. It'd be like Lady and the Tramp 2, and it's all like, who asked 35 years later? You think people give a shit about Lady and the Tramp at this point? And they just kept throwing out reruns, or not reruns, sequels or prequels. That was their thing. Prequels and sequels for every single one of our IPs.
Goddamn prequel trend. I love George Lucas. I appreciate the prequel trilogy for what they are, but goddamn, he opened that Pandora's box, and then everybody had to do a goddamn prequel for the past 30 years.
Yeah, and now they're doing it again. They switched off of that and started going to the live actions, and now that the live actions are starting to slow down, they're all, you know what we need to do? Prequels and sequels to every one of our successful live actions, because it worked so well last time.
I touched on this on Wednesday. So you've got that Furiosa pick coming out in 3 weeks. Furiosa, a prequel to Mad Max Fury Road, which in the end has become detested by many since it came out. It was loved for
shittiest of the movies. Shittiest of Mad Max movies.
I fucking hated that movie. I hated it. And now they announced Furiosa. And then last week, the guy who did Furiosa announced, oh, hey, or maybe it wasn't the guy, I don't know. Somebody announced, hey, I'm going to do a Mad Max prequel to Furiosa.
The only thing I wanted from Furiosa is I wish that freaking Mad Max got to tap that before he walked away. Like, otherwise, I could give a shit about that character. It was a fucking who gives a shit. She's a one-armed freaking chick with no hair. They were trying to sit there and say, look, Mad Max is so bad, but here's a badass girl character for the girls, right? And no one gave a shit about her. Like, there was a couple people who got all, horned up for the character, but not that many. Not enough that you would give her her own show. Not even
Charlize
close.
Theron doesn't do it for me either. She's never done it for me.
Well, not when she looks like that. Like when she's in those like Dior commercials, I'm all like, okay, yeah, I could eat that dress off of her. But
there's one thing that would make actual Mad Max fans happy: old man Mel Gibson, Mad Max.
Oh yeah,
that's take our money.
Yeah,
let's take our money right there.
Oh God, if he would come back to do a Mad Max and have it like say like it's the last ride of Mad Max. This is where the story ends. He finally either finds happiness or he dies in the wasteland. Whatever it is, bring
Blaze of
him
glory.
back. Yeah, bring him back on one last battle to find some sort of humanity left. Get to the land where the little kids flew off to after Thunderdomes, those fuckers. Something like that, then absolutely. But otherwise, yeah, I don't want to see anymore. And I sure as hell don't want to see Furiosa. I won't see that movie for nothing. No.
So I bring this up because this got announced today, and I'm a little torn on this one, Devil. I'm a little torn. I like the Riddick series. Some people like Pitch Black the best. I like Chronicles of Riddick, and I thought Riddick was an okay movie. And they're finally moving forward with Riddick Furia, the final movie that's been in development hell for like 7 or 9 years, some shit like that. I want to like this news, Devil, but I feel the hesitation in my bones. Because I wonder, has it been too long? Is Vin Diesel too old? Does he even really care about Riddick anymore after all the Fast and Furious stuff?
Yeah. I like Pitch Black, and I love the character. The idea of the character was so freaking good, and he played so well at it. He felt like this convict that would pull something like changing his eyes. Was it called glass in his eyes or glazing his eyes, or had a name?
It has a name. I'm thinking about Chronicles of Riddick how do you get eyes like that? First you got to get thrown in a Supermax, no daylight max, and then you got to find a shine your eyes.
Shine your eyes. Yeah. And the other movie, I don't know if I watched the third one. Chronicles of Riddick, I thought they could have done so much better.
I have it right there. I have the director's cut. It's so good. Samuel, how do you feel about this?
It is such a great character.
How do I feel about what?
They announced they're doing the final Riddick movie, Riddick Furia.
I mean, I don't know. Okay, I guess.
How are you, Sam?
Sam coming in with the hot takes.
Look, I like Pitch Black a lot. I think Pitch Black was a fantastic movie, and it was one that they did very little, in your face, this is what we're doing marketing. It was just the most iconic ad I ever saw was a Pitch Black ad, and it was a full page ad in a magazine, and it was just black, and it just said the title of the movie and the date it was coming out. And I'm like, shit, I got to go see this. Right. And I loved it. It was a good movie. Chronicles of Riddick was kind of meh.
See, I liked Riddick because it had a very 40K feel to it.
Yeah, it did.
That's what appealed to me and my friends. And we're like, oh man, it feels like 40K. This is cool. Yeah. We dig it.
I didn't know anything about 40K at the time. So, I went into it and I was like, well, this kind of got like generic fantasy sci-fi all over it. But, it was fine for what it was. Keith David is always awesome to watch. Carl Urban, this was early Carl Urban. He was pretty good in it. I don't really have a problem with Vin Diesel's performance either. But it wasn't on the same level. And I think a lot of that was because it had that same issue that Alien and Aliens have, where they're not even the same kind of movie.
Yeah, they're two different movies. I mean, I've covered this.
Completely.
We did this on the previous incarnation of Drive-In. I've done Pitch Black. And I'll probably have to do it again because I'd like Jed's take on it. But
It's a
so
good movie.
it's a good movie. Yeah, I don't hate
And,
it.
and Katie Sackhoff side tit.
Oh, that's a third one. That's a third one. That's
That's in the third one.
That's in the
which
third one?
has-
that's a third
yeah.
one. Yeah,
I thought
that's
it was
a third
Pitch
one.
Black.
No,
then,
Pitch
then I
Black-
have
Claude-
seen the third one. I have. 'cause I
Claudia
remember
Black.
Claudia
that.
Claudia
Black
Black
is-
Claudia Black is
Yeah.
the first one,
Mm.
and she gets
And
'Cause, yeah, I remember
Bryce
that.
She gets
Mitchell.
bifurcated.
that that says something. That's the only thing I remember from it. Is like I'm all like I can't remember seeing the movie, but I remember Katie Sackhoff's side tit. I was
Oh,
like,
we all remember Katie.
Yeah.
Katie Sackhoff side boob. We all
So
remember that.
like I remember the third one, and it
Yeah.
it was
It's okay.
it was a little bit more in line. It was like
They scaled it
far as,
back.
like kind of movie. Yeah, they scaled it back, and it's a little bit more somewhere in between Pitch Black and Chronicles. Like it's just it's kind of got that sort of feel to it. I don't think it was as good, but again, Vin Diesel, like this is his character. You know,
I didn't hate it.
He created this character. This character,
Yeah.
he is this character. So I don't have any issue with how he played any of that. But I don't really think that, you know. And then there was that little anime thing that they did to kind of
Butcher Bay.
bridge the gap. Yeah,
Butcher Bay. Yeah.
which I think there was a tie-in video game for.
I think you're
And it was
correct.
just it was okay, whatever. But I don't really see why they need another movie.
Well, because they teased it. Because now he's supposed to be going to Furia to, I don't even remember why he's going to Furia.
They teased it 15 years ago.
I know, and but here's the
He's
thing:
not
I'm
young.
torn. Here's the thing: that's what I said. I'm torn. I want this story to get its ending because I really do like the saga of Riddick. I really do like it.
Riddick's a solid character. I like Riddick. I just don't know that he needs more movies any more than I think that Mad Max needs more movies. Mad Max was good in 3 movies, and that's all we
True.
needed.
Yeah, and so, but then you just said it. Vin Diesel, he's getting older, and can he get in the shape to do Riddick anymore? And is there a story? Is the story still there to tell?
You know, actually,
And-
it occurs to me if they did kind of a King Conan or Old Man Logan kind of thing with him, that could be interesting.
Well,
You
either
know, like
way,
where is he years and years down the road after he's left all this shit behind him, all these bodies behind him?
According to this, it's going to begin shooting in August. So it's happening. And Riddick finally returns to his home world, a place he barely remembers, and one he fears might be left in ruins. But there he finds other Furians fighting for their existence against a new monster. And some of these Furians are more like Riddick than he could ever have imagined. So we might be getting that blend.
So this is a soft retcon then, because from the
They're supposed to be wiped out.
When they first mention Furians, there aren't supposed to be any more except for that one necromonger who was just like, no, I was a Furian too, and then he lets himself burn up.
Yeah, and
yeah.
So we'll see. This is something that, I mean, if they're filming in August, this thing's probably not coming out till almost next August. This thing's a year away from release. So this might be something I would go see in the theater in a year because I like the franchise. And maybe in a year, maybe we're in a moment that they won't fuck it up because of the way things are sort of in flux right now. But I'm torn.
Yeah.
I'm torn. It's like I mentioned to Devil earlier. I don't like it that I have to be afraid about things that I loved at once upon a time.
Right.
Like,
well, you know,
this or again.
from this little blurb here, I'm getting a real feeling of. Do you remember that episode of Stargate Atlantis where Ronan Dex finds out that there are more Satidans, that he was not the only survivor, and then one of them was like Mark Dacascos or whatever.
Yep,
that's kind of what I'm. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting from this, though, is that they were, it's like, oh, there are more of them, but they're not going to be like he thought, or like Superman meeting Kryptonians, and turns out they're all cold dickheads.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So I wanted your guys' feelings on this, and I'm not going to say I'm hopeful, but I'm ready to see what happens. As far as
I might check it out when it comes out, but I'm not going to.
That's a long way away.
Yeah,
it's a long way away. So I'm not pinning hopes on it. But something to put on there because that's why I said to Devil. I mean, Samuel, I bet you have the same answer we did. What's the last movie you really were looking forward to going to go see?
Cocaine Bear. No, that's a lie. The last movie I was really looking forward to go see was Godzilla -1.
Okay, that's legitimate. That is something that people, I guess, near universally loved, and everybody got satisfaction from it too. So that's okay.
Look, I was looking forward to Cocaine Bear, and I did love it. So fuck all y'all.
Guilty pleasure. That's it. Just guilty pleasure. There's nothing wrong with that. All right. We got one more thing before we delve into real nerd territory tonight. I got one more article. So we got our first look at the James Gunn Superman suit today. And
Yeah, I saw it. I reacted to it.
Listen, I gotta say, even though you can see there's red trunks. He's got red trunks on. We could see the red trunks right there. I've seen zoom ins, and I could see plain.
The red's still muted, too muted.
Yeah, I'm not digging this.
Maybe it's a lighting thing, but
yeah.
the colors should be brighter. I don't hate everything about the design. They've got like the core elements there, like the way that his boots got like the two pointy bits in the front and all that shit. But it also, if you get in closer to it, it's got that CW Zack Snyder. We got to make everything. New 52. Everything's got to have random creases and weird.
They got
places,
the collar
kind of shit.
And they got the freaking collar going on. Yeah.
It's probably he's probably got a gold S on his belt too.
Ooh. Yeah.
Instead of the oval.
I mean,
I saw this and I thought it was freaking CG. I didn't know this was the suit. I just saw this picture and I was all like, okay, somebody made a CG. Who the fuck is doing the gay Kamehameha in the fucking sky?
It's some alien attack. That's what they're saying.
And he's just nonchalantly putting on his boot. Do you think he'd get the fuck out there pretty quick?
That was my first reaction. I was just like, yeah, Metropolis burns while Soups gets his boots on.
and why? Here's my question. This is supposed to be the reveal of the Superman suit. Mm-hmm. It's supposed to give you an idea of where they're going. Why are we getting a battle damage look in a casual moment? He should be standing, fists on hip, fists on waistline, or
I don't think
saluting.
This is this is just like a photo, advertisement kind of thing. This isn't, from what I understand, this isn't actually in the movie. The thing in the background is not actually in the movie.
No, but this
is just something that kind of.
This was taken on set apparently, though. So I mean,
right,
the background is CGI.
He says, Devil says CGI, and as far as I can tell, the only real things in that picture are the chair, the man, and the suit.
Yeah, that is the only real things. Everything else is fake.
If this is supposed to be a promotional thing, they could have done so. I could do better in freaking a heartbeat.
Point.
Yeah,
that's my point. This is supposed to be your first look at the suit. It's supposed to get you excited. And the most I've seen out of everybody we know and other things is Bug went, I guess I'm sort of intrigued. And that and Bug loves Superman.
Yeah, Bug's a lot more invested in this than I am.
Yeah. So if that's the best you're going to get, and good way to put that, Samuel, the guy who out of most people that we've talked to this about in our immediate circle, the most invested, who would be the most interested in this, who's willing to give it the biggest chance or have a response of, I guess I'm sort of intrigued. That's not the response you want to generate.
Yeah.
You want people to go, oh,
look
shit.
Look at the thing, man. He's I suppose he's going to fill it out later. That suit's made for a man who's bigger than he is. I'm just saying.
People, there are some pictures going around of this dude. I forget his name. Being all buffed out. I don't see it here. And this is from filming. So if this is from filming, he has to be at his peak physique to pull this off. And I'm not seeing it. What are we gonna get CGI touch up?
Maybe it's the angle. Maybe it's the lighting. Maybe it's just a bad picture.
It's the wrong move. Plain and simple. This is not how you generate excitement.
It's like I said, man. The colors are too muted. The lighting's on the wrong fucking side of the picture. You're highlighting the back end of his face. It's just it's almost like they don't really want you looking at the details.
And I gotta say, I mean, people going. I saw some of these more slightly positive responses. Going, oh, here's the shield. Check. Red and blue. Check. Red trunks. Check. We got the spit curl. It's in the wrong spot.
I hate that shield, by the way.
Oh, I don't like the shield either.
That's the Kingdom Come shield. It shouldn't be on a young Superman.
Yeah, and it just feels wrong. This to me, I looked at this and I thought, I didn't go, oh my God, fuck this. I just went, something's not right. Something's not right. I'm not feeling it.
I will give them credit that the boots actually look like boots and not booty socks, as they're often drawn.
Now, does this speak to how the movie's going to be? Of course not. But first impressions are important, and to people who are trying to find a reason to want to see this and get excited, this is not it. Especially, I don't want to see I don't want my first image of a new Superman to be battle damaged. I want to see spit shine, standing strong, ready to save the day.
I could forgive the battle damage thing if we're going to, in fact, as they've been saying, if we're going to skip the fucking origin story. If we're going to get into, like, he's been, like, maybe this is early on in the movie, he just came back from, like, getting his butt kicked. Maybe that's it. Maybe they just put that thing in the background for, like, promo or whatever, and this photo is going to have totally different background. Maybe he's, like, had a hard day saving the world and he's stripping down or whatever.
That would be different.
That would be different. Like, I'm willing to give it the benefit of a doubt, in that regard. But, so I don't have necessarily an issue with battle damaged Superman, provided that, it's not like the only Superman that we see,
But I
like
want...
he's got to be that icon. He's got to be that shining beacon of hope.
That's the thing. I want the beacon to inspire me. I want my first impression to be inspiration, not, just got home from a hard day of saving the world. And I mean, you make a great point. If this was a different background, it's his apartment. He's sitting down. He's clearly just come in. He's about to just decompress from being in a fight. Like, let's just say, I tried to pull a
maybe he was out fighting fires. I could easily see that with the suit looking like that.
Yeah. So he's just out there having finished his patrol for the day. Great. But this seems so commercial. A rando alien globe firing off a blast, especially knowing that this is an ensemble movie at this point. There are 6 other goddamn superheroes in this movie. And
that's what I'm worried about. They're not going to spend any time with Superman in the Superman movie. They're not.
You've got Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, which is a miscast of Nathan Fillion on that. I don't care how good he is. That's a miscast. You've got some chick we know from another movie being Hawk Girl. I guess she's being Shira. Whatever. So that once more, that's not why are we introducing Hawk Girl at this moment? We've got Metamorpho. Okay. I think Metamorpho's in this.
Why? Holy crap. Metamorpho is the dumbest fucking character.
They literally just said, okay, who's on the D list again?
Mr. Terrific. Right. Yeah. Mr. Terrific's in this.
You know who they picked aside from Hawk Girl and Soups here? Everybody you're listing off here was in Justice League Europe.
We're talking D-list.
They were in the Justice. Yeah, they were talking. They were the backup team of the Justice League. They weren't main roster.
We're talking people that are brought in when of course the A team is out. Maybe they're in space. Maybe the B team is caught up on another part of the world dealing with some supervillains. These are C and D listers, man. This is like
Hawk Girl isn't a D-lister, but Hawk Girl doesn't.
No, well, it
Hawk
Girl
works best when she's paired with Carter Hall.
Yeah,
Hawkman is freaking, like, I would say probably C, so she's definitely D. I'd put her behind Hawkman.
Well, I mean, if you go Justice League, like Bruce Timm, Paul Dini, Justice League, Hawk Girl, that's Shira Hall. She's A-League. She's A. They gave her a lot to do in that one, and they beefed her up in that one. Depends on which Hawk Girl you're going with, what level, and what are her. Is she full Thanagarian? Because remember, Shira Hall from Paul Dini, Bruce Timmverse, that's full Thanagarian Hawk Girl. That's not reincarnated Hawk Girl.
Yeah.
So full Thanagarian Hawk Girl, equipped with nth metal. She's A-list. She's A-team, in my opinion. She can stand up there. She's alien. She's super strong. She's got the technology. She can take a beating, and she's trained. She's trained because Shira Hall trained, but reincarnated Shira, that's like C tier because she's
Yeah,
not an alien.
see, the
She's got
CW
these
went that
super-
route with the Hawks, and it was, and then Carter gets killed, and so she's got to wait around for him to be reincarnated before they can be reunited again or whatever. And she had just found out that she was reincarnated, and so she didn't understand fuck all about anything yet, because
Mhm.
every time they get reincarnated, they have to relearn everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it depends on, is this Shira Hall Thanagarian Hawkgirl or is this reincarnated Hawkgirl?
I think
And
they
if it's
just want to have
reincarnated
Hawk Girl, and like you're looking at this is they need to have like strong female in there, and they don't want to go the Wonder Woman route right now.
But they got Lois. I mean, not so.
Lois can't take a punch from Mongol.
You know what I mean, though. They've got female representation. They got Lois. I mean,
Yeah,
don't need to.
and that's what it should be. It should be stripped down to bare basics. It should have Clark Kent, Kal-El. It should have Lois Lane, right? Jimmy Olsen should definitely be in there. He should definitely be a ginger, and he should definitely be wearing a fucking bow tie. It should have Perry White. It should have Lex Luthor, not necessarily as the main villain, but in the movie, because he is very prominent in Metropolis. And
Well, they got Lex in the movie. Lex is in the movie, and he's bald Lex too.
Those are your core characters.
Yeah, and then choose a good mid-tier Superman villain.
But those are the characters that should focus
Parasite or
on.
Metallo.
Yeah, it should have
Parasite or Metallo.
If they're gonna have any heroes in it besides Superman, all they should be is like an Easter egg, like he runs into them. Like he bumps into them and they just say their name, and anyone who knows goes, "Oh crap, that's this person's hidden identity or whatever." That's the only thing. They should not have them actually perform in this. They should just be a hint. So then if they make a sequel, you can go, I wonder if they're gonna be in it.
I got perfect because they haven't actually gotten around doing it because they screwed, because Zack Snyder screwed it up. How about, hi, Clark Kent, I'm John Jones.
Now, see, that would be good.
John Jones would be nice. Yeah.
John Jones.
John Jones is an A-lister. Why can't they have him?
Well, Martian Manhunter. Good God.
As stated several times by Superman, John Jones, the Martian Manhunter, his power set's a little different than Clark's is, but he is as powerful as a Kryptonian.
He can mind fuck you, dude.
He can shapeshift. He can mind fuck you. He can alter his molecular density. He's got laser eyes. He can fly.
Physically strong.
Yep. Yeah.
He's got and his legitimate weakness, fire.
Did you guys ever?
Cool
did you guys ever read New Frontier? Justice League New Frontier?
I saw the movie. I saw the movie adaptation.
So you probably know where I'm going with this. When Batman makes himself known to Martian Manhunter, who at this time is still hiding and pretending to be human, he says, "I have an $80,000 sliver of radioactive meteorite for the one in Metropolis. For you, all I need is a penny for a book of matches."
Yeah.
But in Blackest Night, right, Martian Manhunter becomes a Black Lantern, right, because he's dead, and that's how that works. It's the whole thing. And he's chasing down some of the Bat family, like Nightwing and Damian Wayne Robin and shit. And they think they've got away from him, so they're hiding around the corner of this brownstone. And he just picks the whole fucking building up over his head. I'm every bit as strong as Superman.
Yeah, I mean, you see him go toe to toe with the powerful supervillains. I mean, they haven't done him right. When they did the Supergirl show on CW, they did him all wrong there. Wrong there. You got the fake.
They got him mixed up with Hank Henshaw. It's a whole thing.
Yeah. Oh God, that was so dumb.
They shouldn't have done that, because I like the actor who played him. I think he could have been great in that role, but the role wasn't written well.
When they revealed him, I said, "Oh shit, it's Martian Manhunter, yes!" And then they completely screwed him over. And it's like, wow, okay, you did nothing. And then I checked out not too long after that. I was like, okay, this is
like when they were calling him Hank Henshaw, and I was like, okay, so he's not white anymore. Okay,
so he's and we're getting like Cyborg Superman. Okay, fine.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, that's where they're going with this. Fucking cool, let's do it. And then they was like Martian Manhunter, and
then
Hank
they
Henshaw's
did do it.
Dead.
And no, they did bring him back as Cyborg Superman, but it was retarded. It wasn't even Cyborg Superman. He was just like, "Hi, I'm a cyborg."
That must have been after.
Yeah, it was.
That must have been
after
I quit watching.
Yeah, It was not good. It was really dumb. They
Yeah.
don't get Martian Manhunter. They haven't tried to do him well. I mean, Zack Snyder. Well, Zack Snyder didn't even want to do him when he did the Snyder Cut. It was supposed to be Jon Stewart at the end of Snyder Cut, not Martian Manhunter. So that was a last minute thing. And it's why don't you give me give me Justice League as it should? Don't like you said. Let's skip the fucking origins. We don't need origins anymore. We don't need anymore. Give me the core unit and make it a legitimate fucking story.
Man,
Don't steal from
how-
5 things and try and cram it together.
How awesome would it be if they opened the movie with Soups battling one of Toy Man's giant monstrosities in downtown?
See, now you're speaking bug. You're talking Bugs language.
Yeah, you're talking Bug there, man.
Bug's been
Look,
crying.
I'm just saying.
Why isn't it Toy Man? Why isn't it Toy Man? I just want Toy Man.
It doesn't have to be Toy Man. I just think that, Superman has a varied rogues gallery, and they always only ever do the same 3 villains: Lex Luthor, Zod, or Darkseid. That's it. And actually, Darkseid just gets talked about.
And you know what I want? I want Mongol and Warworld. That's what I want.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool for an ending one. I like I said, I definitely don't think it should be Lex the first time, because I think that would be better as, like you said, a build up. I think it should be like when you said Metallo. I think Metallo would be great, but yeah, some mid tier for the first one. The second one, we get a much stronger big bad, like maybe Brainiac, right?
Ooh.
And then there's somebody behind it all. Superman doesn't know who it is, but he knows there's somebody who's been pulling strings, somebody who's been doing stuff, and he can't figure out who, and he wants to know who's the big bad. And then the third one, that's when I'd have Lex Luthor come forward, and he's been pulling all these strings.
See,
and Metallo would be a great way to introduce Lex Luthor too, not necessarily to Superman, but to the audience, because he's the reason Corbin becomes Metallo. So.
Yeah. I mean, when they first announced Gods and Monsters Chapter 1, when they laid that out, what is it now? 2 years ago when that got laid out? Dre and I broke this down, and we rewrote the entire timeline. Like, we cut off all the random shit that nobody cares about. That is the D-list crap, the out there shit that Gunn likes, but none of us care about. And we said it would have been great if they had done, if they wanted to do a buildup for an entire serialized storyline leading to something, leading to a Justice League level threat. You start off with your Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman movies separate. And if you wanted to do the Green Lantern thing, do the Green, because remember, they're doing a Green Lantern show with Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart on some point on HBO Max during all this. And everything starts teasing that there's something out there. You lead up on all 3 movies, you have them kind of getting bits and pieces from maybe Hal or John, that there's something going on out in space, and it's sort of been affecting things here and there, and people are behaving weirdly, and the clues are dropping. And when you get to the Green Lantern show, they're out in the cosmos hunting down something's happening out there. And we had our idea with, and Dre and I came up with this, saying everything should be leading up to the mystery of what's happening. It's all Warworld, and Warworld is coming to Earth. And that would have been so goddamn cool if you did build up, because it would be different. Like you said, not Lex, not Darkseid, not Doomsday, not even, well, they haven't really done Brainiac, but none of that. Give us Warworld.
They haven't done Brainiac
well ever, really.
Well, yes and no. Like
outside Justice League.
Let me put it this way: in Smallville, James Marsters played Brainiac, and he was okay. In Supergirl, it was actually the girl who played Supergirl in Smallville, Laura Vandervoort. Did you guys ever watch Krypton?
No.
Yeah, I watched the first season. I think it's the second.
So Brainiac has actually done pretty well live action there. Pretty well, not perfect, but pretty well. Creepy, takes over people's minds, is utterly alien. I did like how they did Brainiac there. I didn't like a whole lot else about that show, but Brainiac was cool. So I would like to see Brainiac show up at some point and be done well. I don't know that these guys are going to pull it off, and that's why they should start with somebody small. If they want to go like Strong Woman route, he has female villains too. Like Silver Banshee or Livewire, or something like that, or like Silver Banshee, for example, is a magic based villain, right? Little
Clark
known
don't
fact,
do well against magic.
Superman,
Yeah.
Superman is vulnerable to magic as well. That's one of the reasons that Black Adam can kick his ass
Yeah,
because he's a
that's why
creature of
you
magic.
and that's why you keep Fate on the bench. Like, okay, we got magic problem. Hey, Doc Fate,
Mhm.
come deal with this shit. I can't do it. So
Right.
Fate
You know,
commands.
so yeah, like there's a bunch of different things they could do to start this off if they want to, do like a bunch of Superman related stuff or Justice League related stuff. Yeah, like if they're gonna do trilogy stuff, I don't think they should do that though. I don't
Mhm.
think that that should be their focus. They should focus on doing one fucking good movie.
Yeah, one movie at a time. And even then, I wouldn't go for a Justice League thing. I would want World's Finest is what I would want. Give me a
Oh
World's
yeah.
Finest
Well,
movie where they're
that
not
was supposed to
antagonistic.
happen
They're
in
working
2010.
together. Mhm.
You know,
Yeah, so
that
we
was
got
supposed to be the thing in 2010 when Superman Returns came out, and everybody on the internet started talking about like, oh, hey, what if Christian Bale Superman and Christian Bale Batman and Brandon Routh's Superman got together and did a World's Finest kind of thing. As a matter of fact, in the Will Smith version of I Am Legend, right when he's in Times Square, there is an advertisement for World's Finest dated
really.
in 2010 because it was
Huh.
supposed to fucking come out that year. Yeah, it got canned by the studios, but it was supposed to happen.
God, Warner Brothers is just the most retarded fucking studio in the world.
Mhm.
They sit on these they're sitting on these characters that have mountains of lore and source material for these ideas, and they just don't fucking do it. And they give this shit over to James Gunn, who's just gonna slap shit together of what he likes, not what fans have been begging for decades. A World's
I don't think
Finest.
James Gunn knows how to make a movie that's not an ensemble.
I've said that. I agree with you. I completely agree with you.
Like
He
even
can't
the
do
older
solo.
movies that he did that I really like Slither, even that has, it's got the fucking Michael Rooker's in it, Nathan Fillion's in it,
Mhm.
Elizabeth Banks is in it. I mean, these are all people who he's worked with, and all that, and none of them were exactly D-listers at the time, and he just like I don't think he knows how to do it without the whole
Which is
ensemble
why
thing. It
he
worked for
shouldn't.
Guardians.
Well, that's his specialty. Find the out there team that nobody knows and give it some life. Of course, that he's going to try and do that with the Authority. And from what I understand, that is not something anybody's going to be interested in.
I don't even know what
Especially
that
him.
is, man.
It's like
No, everyone does.
no, I barely know. I've heard people explain it, and all I know is that two of the characters are super gay. So
Yeah,
I have it on good authority.
yeah, it's
in good
that
authority.
and God damn it, devil. That took a second. That took a second to register because I was trying to collect my thought. And what the rumor is for this Gods and Monsters that the Authority movie, they're going to appear as the villains in this movie. That's the lead into their movie because they're the hardcore version of the Justice League. They take no prisoners.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't have faith in
the
this
title
movie. I just
alone
don't.
is a ripoff of a Justice League story. There
And
is a
isn't-
Justice League JLA Gods and Monsters.
Oh, okay. That's what you're talking about. I was talking about the title Legacy of the movie, which is a ripoff, which is based upon a later Superman storyline, from what I understand.
Yeah,
That isn't even that well received. So
yeah.
This
I'm
movie-
just glad. I'm glad they're not doing All Star Superman, because I would really like them to not fuck that up.
listen. I haven't followed Superman storylines in probably 20 years. So
Yeah.
all I want, I just want a Superman story. Now, of course, I've got Adventure Superman behind me. I could, when I get around to it on my list of things as I slowly need things to watch, it'll happen. But I gotta finish watching Batman animated series first because I've been doing it. Like the devil will appreciate this. I'm going down the proper order. I'm not just going to jump into that. I got to get through TAS, then Superman, then back to Justice League. I got to watch the whole proper thing in proper order. So it's a slow work. It's a slow burn. But I just want a Superman story because I'll say this: I like Superman better than Batman. I do. I know that's not a popular thing to say. And I want a good Superman story.
I'm with
I
you.
want to see him fight. And I would then know what
don't-
I would like to. I'd like Superman game.
A good one, yeah. I don't know that I like Superman or Batman better than the other. I like them both, but for very different reasons. You know, Batman is the revenge fantasy, right?
Mm.
He is the I guess Walter White of superheroes, right? And obviously, he's not evil or anything, but he takes a darker, more violent path than a lot of these guys do, and
Mhm.
Whereas Superman is, and this is the problem that Zack Snyder apparently fucking missed, and that I think even Henry Cavill has pointed out, is that Superman is supposed to be aspirational. He is supposed to show us all that we can be better than we are. He shouldn't be like the rest of us. He shouldn't be, out there getting conflicted and fucking snapping necks and not giving a shit about collateral damage and he
Not
should
saving
not
his
be-
dad.
He shouldn't be brooding. He shouldn't be dark.
Yeah.
He should. It's like Spider-Man, Peter Parker, right? Peter Parker gets his ass kicked all the time. He loses constantly. Part of that is because he fucking holds back because his morality won't let him go full force because he'll kill people if he does. But part of that is how he was raised. Like even in his darkest fucking moments, right? Even when he's on the edge of despair, he finds a way to stand back up and be the fucking example. And Superman is the example, the one that all the other heroes look up to. And if they're looking up to him, then everybody else is too. He is that shining beacon of hope. That's what he is meant to be, and the whole dark brooding shit, like, it doesn't fit the character. And it shows me that Zack Snyder did not understand the fucking character.
Well, they kind of in DC, they're very much the yin and yang of heroes, right? You have the dark, you have the light. They're counterbalanced to each other, polar opposites. They both stand for the same thing, but in completely different ways.
Yeah,
Yet
and
they
Wonder Woman
have so
straddles
much
the line
respect
between them.
But they have so much respect for each other too. I mean, I'll use Justice League as another example. The final episode when Apocalypse is invading and everybody's fighting, you've got Superman, you got Batman, you got Lex. They're fighting Darkseid in a building, and Darkseid fires his Omega Beam, and Batman he pulls out every dodge trick he has to get away from it, and Darkseid goes, "No one has ever dodged my Omega Beam," and Clark goes, "That's because that man never gives up. He's the one person that will never give up." And there are similar moments in the show where Bruce shows respect for Clark, and it's that you should put they're the yin and the yang, but at the same time, they are friends, and we should get that on screen. And that's what I'm missing, a Superman movie, and then I'm missing a movie which maybe then takes Batman out of what he's doing and puts him in a situation where you get that contrast of Superman and Batman and how, despite how different they are, they still work so well together. Which is why they have the term their duo is the world's finest. And I want that, but I don't think I'm ever going to get it. I honestly don't think I'm ever going to get it at this point. I just don't.
I don't know if I can find it real quick, but there was a speech bubble that Batman had said one time while he was describing Clark, and I don't have it in front of me, unfortunately, so I'm probably going to mangle the shit out of it. But what he was
forgive
saying
you.
essentially boils down to that Clark is in fact a god. He is in. But the fact that he was raised in Kansas by good people who instilled in him decent values tempers all of that, and he never realizes that he's a god. He thinks he's one of us, and we should all be thankful that that day that he realizes who and what he actually is never comes.
That's why Injustice is such for a moment is interesting. I personally don't like the Injustice stuff. I'm tired. I don't really enjoy seeing evil Superman, but that's why that is a perfect example of what you're talking about. Where, okay, what if he decided fuck everything?
Yep.
I'm done. I'm done with this. You're all gonna listen to what I say because none of y'all can stop me.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's the thing. That kind of behavior is very Kryptonian, sure. But it goes against his character.
Mm-hmm.
It's not who he is. And who he is I think that the speech that I was referring to that Batman stated, I think he was actually incorrect there. I think Clark knows exactly what he is, and he chooses to walk as one of us.
My favorite line from the same episode of Just League Unlimited: I live in a world of cardboard, constantly afraid that one wrong move, I will break everything. But then when he says Darkseid, but you big boy, you're the one opportunity
can
where
take it.
I cut loose, you can take it. And the only reason Darkseid beats him in that is because Darkseid cheats. He breaks out some tech that Clark didn't know
he's
he
a
had.
villain.
Yeah.
And technically, Darkseid is an actual god. You know?
Yeah. And then, of course, Lex shows up and basically out-egos Darkseid, which is kind of a cool way to end it there.
Yeah.
But
Legatus points it here, too. It's not just that Superman has to be the example. It's that Superman chooses to see the best in everybody else, too. Even his villains.
Big
He
Blue Boy
believes
Scout.
that Lex Luthor can be rehabilitated. Yeah. You know, and that's... it's not just that he's a symbol of hope, but that he has hope. He doesn't just embody it, but he employs it. You know, he believes in humanity. He believes in people. And, you know, whereas Batman doesn't. Batman fucking doesn't believe in anybody. He thinks everybody's shit. You know?
You're not wrong. Well, when you watch your parents get ganked brutally,
and then you spend your whole life seeking that kind of thing out.
Yeah. You're looking for it to stop it. You're actively searching it out to quash it at every moment. And the funny thing is here's the thing. Superman really is Clark. Clark is his true identity. Superman is, one could say, the secret identity of Clark Kent. Yeah. Batman is the true identity of Bruce Wayne is the secret. Bruce Wayne is the fake persona. Mask. Yeah, Bruce Wayne is the fake. That's why there's this great episode in Batman the Animated Series. It's the one where the Mad Hatter he traps Batman early on off screen, and we don't realize until the end. And he puts a device on him, putting Bruce in his ideal world. Problem is, his ideal world, he's been separated from Batman, and everything feels wrong. And in the end, there's one example here, and there's another one example later I'm going to bring up from all that stuff, where eventually he finds the fake Batman and he pulls it off, and there's nothing under there. But then in that realization, that's the whole point of the episode. No, that's really him, and it's not. Yeah. And then there's another. I think it's a Batman Beyond episode where everybody was getting mind fucked, or maybe it was a Just Those. So I suddenly can't remember. And somebody asked Bruce, "How did you know that it was an illusion, a lie?" He says, "Well, they called so and so called me Bruce." Well, don't you call yourself Bruce? Not in my head.
Yeah.
I call myself Batman.
It's like Legatus is saying here, the S symbol means hope. It does, but it also stands for everything that Superman represents. And like going back to even the reign of the Supermen, right? When you had the Eradicator, you had Hank Henshaw, Superboy, but specifically Steel, right? So during the Doomsday arc, right? Yep. You find out later. You don't find this out until Reign of the Superman, but during the bit where Doomsday is tearing through fucking Metropolis, and Superman's doing everything he can to slow him down, and he's not slowing him down at all. Doomsday crashes through a construction site. They're building a skyscraper or whatever. And John Henry Irons was working at that construction site, and he was buried, and it knocked him off, and he was going to fall to his death. And I think he gets buried in there. But when he comes out,
wasn't he hanging on and Superman pulled him up? I thought he was hanging on.
That was earlier, because he has a flashback later where the first time he met Superman, he slipped off of the skyscraper, and Superman caught him, and he goes, okay. And he's like, I owe you my life. And Superman says, then don't waste it. You know, and then just leaves and all that. And he's got that in his head. So when he crawls out of the rubble, and he picks up his hammer for the first time, and he's just saying doomsday over and over again, because in his head he knows what just happened, and he keeps replaying that moment where Superman told him to make his life count for something. Right. So he builds the suit and all that, and he puts the S on to honor Superman and all that stuff. And later on, he runs into somebody else. And I think it was Batman, but I'm not 100% sure. It's been a very long time since I read these. And he's got the S on and all that. And somebody says to him, he's like, if you're going to wear that S, be worthy of it.
I think it was during Funeral for a Friend.
Might have been, yeah. But you know the scene I'm talking about.
Well, I think I do, because I read the novelization of Death and Life of Dead Superman. I didn't read the comic, and I think the novelization was actually better than the comic, because in that one, Supergirl punches off Mongol's head instead of Green Lantern just hitting him with a giant beam of steel, beam. That I just thought that was cooler. But I think that was during Funeral for a Friend. I think it was.
Yeah.
Or
You know
right
what I'm
after.
talking
No, I'm
about.
sorry.
It's like-
No. It has to be after Funeral for a Friend, because Steel doesn't. Nobody. Superman don't emerge till after Funeral for a Friend. I think it's right after. Right after Funeral for a Friend.
You know, and there was during one of the many reboots of Supergirl. I think this was during the Batman Superman run in the late aughts. Right about the time there was a whole arc where she gets kidnapped by Darkseid and gets turned into a female Fury and all this stuff.
Oh, did you see that movie? Oh, you're talking about the movie that was based on
Well,
that?
I actually read the comics before the movie came
Okay.
out, but yes, that storyline.
That was
But
good.
she's
movie.
practically feral when she gets to Earth.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Which is not good, because she is a 16-year-old Kryptonian in full control of her powers, except that she isn't exhibiting any control because she's a fucking teenager. And she's wearing the S, and she's going around and she's just doing whatever she likes. And Soups and Bats take her aside, and they're like, if you're going to wear that S, you need to honor what it stands for. And she goes, this is my family crest. The fuck are you talking about? And they're like, that's not what it stands for here. Here on Earth, it means something else.
That was Batman Superman. I think it was Batman Superman Apocalypse. I think the movie was based.
It was
adapted of that
it was
one.
Apocalypse, or
that was a good one, because
Apocalypse.
it had all the proper voice actors doing their roles.
Yeah.
I think it had Andre Braugher as Darkseid in that one, if I remember correctly. Or am I thinking of something else? That was a good one. I like this. That has a really good fight at the end where you think the final battle is between Supergirl and Apocalypse, but then he beats her, and then Clark comes back out and they have a quick fight, and he says, okay, we're done here. But then Darkseid takes it one step too far, and then that is one of the most savage beatdowns that Superman has ever delivered on Darkseid in any adaptation I've seen of them fighting. It's just savage. He beats him up. It's awesome. God, now I want to watch it. Now I want to watch that one.
Yeah,
because Kevin,
when DC animated movies were good.
Yeah, and that's Kevin Conroy doing Batman, where he takes a nuke to Apocalypse to negotiate with Darkseid. It's like, what are you wearing? Yeah, I'm wearing a nuclear bomb as I negotiate with you right now, because that's how I know to deal with you.
In the comic book version of that, he doesn't. It's not like a nuke. So they're on Apocalypse, and he's seated in all those like big fucking gaping smoking holes that are all over that planet, right? He seeded each of those with its own nuke, and he tied them into his heartbeat. And then he went and talked to Darkseid. He's like, yeah, you can kill me, but your whole planet's gonna die.
Yeah, I love it. That's fucking awesome. I love it. It's like, my superpower is my brain, and I planned this whole damn thing out. And that's why I'm gonna walk out of here, and I'm gonna get what I want. I love it. See, there's so much to do that's good, and that's why, coming back to this, I have no faith in the movie, because James Gunn is just making shit up.
Yeah.
When it's the adapting all these things, whether it's this, whether it's Star Wars, the EU, whether all that stuff is available, it's such low-hanging fruit to just take something that was good and slightly refashion it for a movie or a TV show. And you barely have to do any work.
you're talking 86, 85, 86 years of fucking material to draw from.
Yeah.
You know?
To me, if I had control, I would think, wow, work smarter, not harder. Take the easy thing, tweak it as necessary, and I don't have to kill myself for 6 months writing a script. Or is it no? I got the stories right here, and you know why people won't care? Because it's the goddamn stories people want. And if you take one that's successful and you don't fuck it up and pack it full of shit that's unnecessary, you're gonna have a massive winner on your hands. It's just you're printing money. But they don't get that because guys like James Gunn need to do their vision of something. Just like Zack Snyder to do his vision. Let him cook. I hate that phrase. Let him cook. I really freaking hate that phrase right now. It's annoying. So either way, this is not a portent of any means. It's not a good first impression as far as I'm concerned. They could have done better. And
A lot better.
Going by everything else we know about Gods and Monsters, the whole line, nothing sounds positive about this because they haven't taken anything away from it. They haven't shaved it down. Every single thing on that list is still in production and happening. So it's a shame. I want to love this. I want a good Superman, but I'm not blackpilling, but I willingly. I just don't think I'm ever going to get a good live action anymore in my lifetime. Maybe not my lifetime, but
Gunn.
I'm gonna be old. Oh, I don't have faith in Gunn at all.
Yeah.
I have none.
A buddy of mine, Joker Voice, has him and I have been kind of going back and forth on this for about 2 years now, and all that because he very much thinks that, or at least he did anyway, that James Gunn could fix what's wrong with DC, and I know there's a school of thought that thinks that. I disagree partially because I don't know that he can do an ensemble movie, but I don't know that he could do a character piece. I don't know that he could focus on the main thing that he needs to focus on here. And I don't know that I want a guy who came up in fucking Trauma taking on Superman.
Yeah.
I like Trauma and I like a lot of Gunn's early work, but it's irreverent stuff. And this should not be irreverent.
He likes zany. He likes out there. That's his shtick. And his shtick is not the big blue Boy Scout, Truth, Justice, the American Way. And it's definitely not Batman. And it's not any of these guys.
Authority
Authority
I could see him
is
doing
his
an entertaining Swamp Thing,
I could see that.
Swamp Thing's batshit.
Swamp Thing's on the it's on the list of Gods and Monsters, but it's way at the end, and I doubt he's going to be doing that.
Yeah.
He's going to farm that one out.
Well, and because he can't do all of this stuff himself. So and him and what's Zaslav? Not Zaslav. Who's the other guy who was put in charge of this?
I forget his name. The co-head. I suddenly forget his name.
Yeah,
because whenever I talk about the stuff, all I ever talk about is Gunn. So I never even bring that guy up because he's the business guy. Gunn's the creative part. The other dude he's the business half. I think his first name is Peter.
Peter something. Yeah. Nobody's saying that Gunn's not creative. He absolutely is.
No, he is.
I just don't think that his brand of creativity works for Superman. I don't think it works for most of DC. Peter Safran. Yeah, thank you. It's just what we're gonna end up getting is like. Did you happen to watch the Teen Titans show? Titans or whatever. The live action.
As soon as I saw race swapped horse Starfire, I said nope.
Yeah, that was not even like the most egregious thing about that show, but one of the parts that really turned me off about it was the season finale of the first season. They go up against Raven's dad.
Yeah, I heard about listen,
Trigon bullshit.
Trigon's an endgame villain. I mean, that's a dude who could fight Darkseid one-on-one.
Trigon eats realities.
Yeah. He's a devil.
Yes,
He's a devil.
He's a devil's devil.
Yeah.
Like Trigon is like, he shows up and your whole universe just fucking is over,
Yeah. The only way you beat Trigon is to have Raven go full batshit White Raven and
Yeah,
fight him.
You know what happened?
Yeah.
That's not what happened though. She doesn't go back.
Yeah.
She doesn't go full White Raven. What she does is she gets saved by the power of love from her friends. They join hands and they beat him
What is
back
it?
with
What
their
is this? My
fucking
Little Pony
good feelings
friendship
and
is
shit.
magic?
It was the dumbest fucking thing I have ever seen. And he doesn't even reach full size. He barely is in his true form at all. He's mostly like this Weasley little like Linus Roach on crack dude. And I like Linus Roach. No shade against him, but dude's kind of skinny. And it just he was just this little dude in a business suit and all that. And they were trapped in a house, and he was like fucking with their heads or whatever. And then he turns into the full on thing for about 30 seconds before they blow him up with the power of love.
But goddamn, I remember the actual Teen Titans cartoon, the good one, the one that's connected to the the Bruce Timm Dini-verse, where you saw the bad future where Trigon got released, and he's sitting on buildings like a throne, and the world is devastated because they couldn't stop him.
Look, Godzilla's 400 feet tall. He'd be a footstool to Trigon.
I mean that's something you build up to. That's a Justice League level
threat.
Fight.
Yeah.
Threat. Yeah, that's something you worry about. When Darkseid can't take you one-on-one, you're a problem. And God, there's so many good things, and they don't know what they're doing, and then they do stuff like that. I mean, I knew I wasn't interested in that show when I saw how the character designs. I know I was done. I was out, and you tell me stuff like that, and they'll remember the line, "Fuck Batman." It's like, no.
Yeah, that was, and the rest of the time, like when Batman's in it, he's not Batman. He's Bruce Wayne, and he's a deadbeat dad who shows up last minute to give a little bit of advice. And of course, Dick is not having it because Batman's a deadbeat dad and all that shit. And the only time you ever see the bat suit, because there were legal reasons for that, like they couldn't do Batman television for a long time because Warner Brothers movie studios held the sole rights to that. But the one time you do see a glimpse of it, it's in a nightmare scenario where Dick Grayson murders him, and you never see his face. You only see him from behind, kind of thing. The one thing that I would say that they did okay was they had Isai Morales play Deathstroke, and he was pretty good.
Okay. I love how you said the one time you see Batman, Dick destroys him from behind.
It's true. It's true.
God damn it, Mike. Oh man, Devil of course catches that.
I don't think that was an accident. That's all I'm saying. It's like, you know what?
Man.
We're gonna fuck Batman, literally.
Well, but think about it. In every single live action TV adaptation, when they try to, or when Batman's not there, it's all about fucking Batman. Because let's do every Batman adjacent thing we can without doing Batman, and it's all to fuck Batman.
Even Arrow, which had
Arrow,
a couple of
which
good
took
seasons.
his villains,
but Arrow
didn't
is Batman. It took his entire storylines. It is Batman, but they couldn't use Batman, so they imposed Green Arrow. But it's essentially a Batman story.
Let me confirm this from my memory. I mean, they gave him the Ra's al Ghul story, but they didn't give him Talia. Yep. They gave him her sister or something like that. Was it
yeah,
Talia?
it was. It begins with an N.
I don't know.
Talia is in it for a second, but yeah, it's not her. She's not the.
What you're saying? Focus. They basically gave him Batman storyline. They couldn't go so far as to have him bone Talia, so they gave like lesser Talia.
Yeah.
They did the Ra's al Ghul storyline. They did pretty much all of it. How can you do Ra's al Ghul without all of his? They did some interesting stuff, but they also like mixed up like the Brother Blood storyline from Titans with in Titans and the Hawkman. They missed that. And Brother Blood is a Gotham thing, but they mixed that up with Solomon Grundy.
Solomon Grundy wants pants too. Okay.
Yeah. They did some cool stuff with that show. I'm not saying that all of Arrow was terrible. The last two seasons
I know
hot garbage. The first 2 seasons were fucking good, and then the middle stuff kind of hit or miss. And there were some cool characters that they really could have done more with. Like Ragman would have been fucking cool to see a lot more of him. Um, but overall, yeah, they just took, because like comic book Green Arrow, he's a Joker, and he's a fun guy, and he's got quips, and he's got goofy fucking gag arrows. I mean, he essentially
And
has the same
he's the
power set
opposite
that
of Bruce
Batman
Wayne.
does,
Yeah.
but he's chipper about it, and they and no shade on Stephen Amell. I think he did a very good job playing the character as it was written, but that he was playing Batman, not Green Arrow.
Yeah.
It's all broody, hanging out in his fucking hideout and shit, kicking the crap out of people. He kills a bunch of people in the first season before he figures out, hey, maybe I shouldn't be murdering people.
See, I never got into the Arrowverse. It never appealed to me. So.
Yeah, and Deathstroke was a huge thing, which is really Batman and Nightwing's story. Not Green Arrow. And again, I really liked how they did Deathstroke, but that's not a Green Arrow villain. I don't even know who Green Arrow's villains are. That's like
you could
bank robbers.
You could
and
pay
shit.
me. You could pay me $1 million, and I couldn't give you that answer.
Yeah,
because I know. I mean, that's how I know that Deathstroke is a Batman villain, because of Batman. And then, of course, in the Teen Titans run, they just called him Slade in that one for that one. But it was Deathstroke because of Slade Wilson, duh. But and how he tormented Robin all the time and all that kind of stuff. And here's the thing: if you can't put a superhero out there, and you can't give him his or her rogues gallery, don't do it. Don't do it. Do what you are wanting to do. Give us a Batman show. Give us a live action Batman show. Give us a Spider-Man show with a rogues gallery. All these things. Rogues galleries are what makes things interesting. And that's what we're talking about. Give a mid-level Superman villain that can test Superman, but we know he's not going to lose because it's a mid-tier villain. But you can't do what they all want to do now. They want to jump right to the ultimate threats. They're gonna. We go talk about freaking MCU right now. Fantastic Four movie. They're dropping Galactus in right away. That's a mistake. You don't go to Galactus right away. You don't go to Brainiac ready. You don't go to Darkseid again right away. You don't even go. I know. I mean, if you're doing whatever, they're just oops. Oh, well, it is Samuel's internet.
He escaped.
It's not unusual. And there's no message, so I think that was.
He'll do it in a minute, I'm sure.
No, there'll be a curse somewhere. But you don't jump to, even anymore with Batman. I was gonna say, you don't jump to Joker anymore. You don't jump to, I would say, you don't jump to Ra's al Ghul. It's been done. Go down. Do Mad Hatter. Do Two-Face. Do Two-Face. Give us a real nasty Two-Face story. Do something like
or at least if you're gonna do lower level villains, like then do a couple, but have them be like Penguin and Riddler, or the ones that are good, but you could see two of them being at the same time. But don't go to the high level ones, the ones that can literally destroy the city or potentially have a massive impact. It's just too early for any of that.
Because that's a problem. People have blown their wads too much. We don't we don't want the big bad, the big most famous villains right away. Give us a good story around a mid-tier villain that's interesting and will test our hero.
Because every movie has to up it. And so where do you go if you keep upping?
Good point. Yeah. Well, you're right. I'm sorry. You're right. The power scale problem.
Yeah.
Power scale problem. Yeah.
Like I said, I could see Lex Luthor being like second movie level, because then you could have a Darkseid or a War World, something that is coming to this world and literally going to take it over. That I could see putting as a third movie instead of Lex if you wanted to do, but definitely don't put Lex as like the first villain or some shit like that. Just to me, that always seems stupid when they try to do that.
Yeah. I want. Listen, it's the stupid nerd thing to say because it's unrealistic, but I want what I know.
Yeah.
I don't want to be surprised. I want what I know. I want what I know works. Just go with that. So Star Trek.
Yeah.
All right, I gotta bring this up. Well, shifting gears, I want to talk some Star Trek because I am still burning through my TNG stuff. I started season 5 the other day, and just before the stream tonight,
This man.
I watched the episode with Ashley Judd where it's the game episode with the drug and the takeover, you know, the discs and the thing.
Yeah.
And it's the first Wesley episode since he leaves the Enterprise. And I have a lot of problems with this episode watching it because there are some inconsistencies, and I feel as though they dumped down everybody to make Wesley the hero of the episode. Because think about it like this, and you've got now Riker getting bamboozled because he's a man whore. Fine, you know he's thinking with his dick, and he got taken over. I can get that because that's a weakness of Riker. He's gonna be man whored. But then after he gives the game over to Deanna, that I can accept because she's gonna be nice. She's gonna see what he has to say. She's not immune to his charms. And then Deanna does it to Beverly because they're best friends. So she's going to show her it. That I can get. But then off camera, they somehow got Worf addicted to the game and Picard addicted to the game. And unless they held them down, or at least tell us that we had trouble getting it on Worf or convincing the captain to put it on, I don't see Picard willingly putting that little game on his head to play it.
Yeah.
I just don't.
He doesn't play. He wouldn't be like, "Oh yeah, sure, I'll play a game." But Worf, exactly. He'd be like, "Is there blood involved?" No. Well, then why would I play your stupid little electronic game?
There's no honor in this game. I'm not gonna.
Yeah. But yeah.
So I'm sitting here watching it, eating dinner, and I'm thinking, and it's been a long time since I saw this episode. And I've always hated it, of course, because it's Wesley, and it's just. I don't want to see him anymore at this point. We've had so many great episodes where he's been gone. We had 2 seasons of no Wesley. It's been awesome, or season and a half at this point. And suddenly he comes in and it's, oh, hey, Wesley, how you doing? Oh, no. And suddenly Wesley's the only one that sees his problem.
You know, and it points out how gay Wesley is because I'm sorry, if I was a fucking teenager and I had a young Ashley Judd there, the only thing I'd be trying to do is fucking clap cheeks. Fuck
Right.
games, fuck all that science, all that shit. I'd be like, girl, what can I do?
Well, she's not a shape-shifting princess, so you know.
That's true.
But her character was annoying as fuck. Here's my rules, my 102 rules of all my stuff that I was like, shut up, just shut up. You're annoying. You're all annoying. And I have this question too. If it connects to the eyes of stuff, how did it penetrate Geordi's visor to get him addicted? I'm not sure if his visor, if it would translate the same go through his visor.
Yeah.
Because
You'd think it would filter it out, yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you take out the visor, he can't see it, and therefore it's not going to go through his visual cortex into the brain.
Yeah.
There's a lot wrong with that episode.
Plot holes.
Too many.
Yeah.
And it was bugging me all night. I can't get my head around this.
Well, you know,
was
just this is one of those things you got to get through before Wesley runs off with the Traveler in like a know new.
Thank God, there's
gay,
only 2 more Wesley
stellar
episodes.
love affair. Yeah, and then he disappears forever, and isn't even mentioned by name in season 3 of Picard.
Nope.
They allude to him, but they never say his name.
Although I will say his other episode, the Starfleet Academy episode, that is a good episode because it's he isn't saving the day. It's an actual moral conundrum of what do you do? How do you behave? I mean, of course, I'm not there because that's season 6. I'm not there yet, or at least I think that's season 6. I think it's season 6, or maybe it's late season 5. I don't know at the moment. But that's the moral conundrum. Do I tell the lie to save myself and my friends? But then he's faced with the point later on is, wait a minute, if I'm going to, in order to protect myself and our lie, I have to call Captain Picard a liar. And that's the bridge too far. And that's a good episode, the moral quandary, the moral conundrum. That is a good episode, even though it is Wesley centric. And it does set up a couple of later episodes, like the Bajoran chick who eventually dies, and the other dude who does get on the Enterprise, but also does nothing with his life. But I'm enjoying it. Although I think I am going to take a break before I do DS9, because I think I might burn myself out if I go right from TNG to DS9. I'm going to have to watch something else in between. But I just watched the Ensign Rowe.
A lot of television,
yeah, and I'll get sick and tired of Star Trek real quick. So it'll be I'm either going to watch. Well, by then, no. I'm going to finish this probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and I still got another month of anime before I have a restocked anime supply. So I might either watch. Well, I might watch Shogun. I might watch that. It would be something new, or I might pull something off the shelf. But I'm watching the Ensign Rowe episode. And here's the thing: watching all these episodes, whether it's the Ensign Rowe episode or a couple other ones, or the last season, the first Trill episode, where with the whole introduction of the whole Trill race, man, did they do massive retcons later on? You realize, because in that episode,
with a number of races,
in that episode, a Trill can't use the transporter because it's harmful to the symbiote. But Jadzia transports all over the place. Or they say in that episode, we barely know anything about the Trill. They've been very secretive. We've only been in contact with them for I think they said maybe 20 years. But then that doesn't line up with Cisco and Curzon.
Yeah, for years being friends, close friends.
Yeah, his mentor. So, man, you get the DS9, and then it brings in the whole first the Ensign Rowe episode, which is our first introduction to Bajor and Cardassia, really, in their conflict. And man, they retcon all that Bajoran. They called them the Bajora in that episode.
Well, they also you'll notice that the ear that she wears the
earring. Oh, you're gonna
on is the opposite side that all of the other Bajorans in Deep Space Nine wear it on. Yeah, they also get and just stick with the nose ridges. Yep,
and they had the weird.
They reckon a lot of stuff. In some ways they change some stuff up that it's just like, okay, this doesn't make sense with the older stuff, but in other ways, like with the Ferengi, the Cardassians, they really fleshed out those races. In Deep Space Nine, they added so much more to what were essentially two-dimensional villains in TNG, which I think they did very well with.
Yes. The Cardassians are between season 4 and season 5. They're set up as they're not to be trusted. The war has recently ended with Cardassia, and they're sketchy and this and that. But that's all you get, and or right now with the episode with the Ensign Rowe one, where they're manipulative, and of course they haven't created the Obsidian Order yet, so you don't know what that is. But how they manipulated the Admiral into trying to kill the Bajoran terrorists, or the Bajoran we would call them freedom fighters. They call them terrorists. But you're right. You get the DS9, and suddenly you get stuff like the Obsidian Order. You get the different levels of Cardassian society. You understand what's going on. Oh, another thing too. Go back to season 3. When the Ferengi, remember the wormhole episode where the Ferengi get dumped in the Delta Quadrant at the end of it? When they arrive at that one, we're here to give you all this gold. It's not gold pressed latinum yet. Because I always remember this in a specific DS9 episode. I remember them going, I think it's Quark at one point goes, look at this, all this worthless gold, not a bit of latinum inside it. I think it's the one, it's the episode where they're going after the great heist that we learned that Lorne is storing all the latinum in his third stomach or second stomach. and they discover and they realize, wait, there's no latinum here. It's just worthless gold. So here's that thing, and Star Trek is one of the franchises that accomplishes it quite well. Legitimate retcons that are not just to. It's not so, oh, we're fixing an error because we forgot something. No, we're going to step back, and it's been enough time since the original introduction that we're going to blatantly change something, but we're going to make it for the better.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with it when they do it like that.
You said you're in season 5 now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of the Next Generation.
Yeah.
So this would have been right about the time that Deep Space Nine got started. So when they introduced the Trill in TNG, right, they're already retconning it on the show that's running currently.
Yeah, because at the end of the episode, at the end of season 5, because DS9 starts at the beginning of season 6. Because during season 6, when you have the crossover where Data has dreams and
right, because it goes for the last
shows
two
up.
seasons of
yeah.
So it's not long after that. So
nope. Yeah.
And and I think Voyager ran for the last 2 seasons of Deep Space Nine too. In that, so we actually had like an uninterrupted like 15-year period of Star Trek every week.
Hey man, it was great. I mean, right now, before we got started here, I finished the West episode and I started, and of course, the next episode is Unification. And right away, I'm thinking, wow, we are deep into season 5. Roddenberry's going to die any second now, and there it was, Unification in loving memory, Gene Roddenberry, at the start of the episode. Like, here we are, the last time he was involved with any episode, and it's 1991. And we are in next following year, then DS9, and then DS9 owns the 90s, and then owns the early 90s, and then midway through, I mean, I was in high school when Voyager started, and then Voyager ran through all those final years into the 2000s. And it's just, you're right, to have, even with Voyager, even with all our criticisms of Voyager, whether it's boring or how it sometimes gets it right, sometimes gets it wrong, it was still there.
Shit characters. Yeah.
But Star Trek was there. It was present for 2/3 of the year. We had an episode every week, 25 episodes. And it was just there to tell us good stories. I mean, I'm watching these TNG episodes, and the writing is just so solid 90% of the time. 90%. I mean, a couple days ago, I watched Drumhead a few days ago.
Oh yeah,
so powerful.
That's the one with the like quarter Romulan kid who lied about being Vulcan, isn't it? Yeah, that's a good episode.
And the Admiral chick goes on the witch hunt, seeing enemies of the Federation in every shadow, thinking she convinced herself that there's a conspiracy theory on the Enterprise, a conspiracy to take down the Federation on the Enterprise. Because they had that Klingon that was a spy for the Romulans, and they busted him, but then suddenly there had to be more. It has to go deeper. And Worf gets caught up in it, and Picard right away realizes, whoa, things are getting out of hand. And he tries to challenge her, and the brilliant move of Picard to capture her in her own zeal, her own zealotry. And he uses, and after she beats him up in cross-examination or interrogation, and then she goes to the point and says, "Are you fully recovered from the Borg?" And he face palms. And this is why I do love Picard as a captain. He doesn't lose his cool. He collects and looks up, and then based upon an earlier conversation he had with her in the episode, he knows exactly which thread to pull on to make her lose her shit by quoting her father, a famous jurist in the Federation, and she just loses it in front of the admiral who's chief of security for the for Starfleet. And after she loses it and he yells at him, he's like, "I've taken down bigger men than you, Picard." The admiral just gets up, doesn't say a word, and leaves. And she's done at that point. but it's just the exchange of the episode and how the behavior of the characters, and then Picard's final words to Worf. Not all villains twirl mustaches. That sometimes they cloak themselves in virtue and seek to push their own agendas whenever they can grab power. That's great television right there. It's great
and relevant.
Eerily relevant right now. Very eerily relevant. You realize you go back and watch all these episodes, and that's why, I mean, Samuel, I mentioned this earlier when Devin and I were talking about how the other side can't meme. And I mentioned, Devin, you know the meme where you got the two astronauts on the moon, and it says, "Wait, was it always like this?" And the guy goes, "It always was." Well, I came across one of these on Friday where they have no meaning of the meme, and they just took that and they just plastered every famous Federation starship on there, from multiple Enterprise to Defiant to Voyager. And somebody goes, "Star Wars was always progressive and woke," and the guy with the gun goes, "It always was." It's like, no.
Look, Roddenberry was a progressive.
Yes.
Roddenberry also believed in people and allowed them to make their own decisions and come to their own moral conclusions. Roddenberry was an idealist, right? These people are not idealists. This progressive thing that they're talking about now, this is not idealism. It's nihilism.
And because I mean, so many of these episodes, and especially in season 4, a lot of Prime Directive episodes.
Yeah.
And I hate to bring it up, but it's a parallel because I want to compare and contrast. STD season 5 is going on, and they had this whole episode where Mikey Burnham had to toss the Prime Directive to save the day. And I saw an article earlier this evening saying Star Trek Discovery is rightfully moving away from the Prime Directive. The Prime Directive is meaningless. Starfleet shouldn't be following it anymore.
Hold on. I thought that Mikey Burnham, I thought that Discovery was before the original series in timeline, right? And in the original series, they didn't have the Prime Directive yet.
Well, they
at least not the first season.
Yeah, it starts there, but no, they time travel again before the original series start. When they go to the far future, that's they do that before the original series starts. Now, I didn't watch any of that shit after they went to the future. I watched up until that point, so I don't know if they heard about the Prime Directive later. But that show STD never bothered with the fucking Prime Directive.
Yeah,
I don't think they've even mentioned it. In the first
they mentioned it in this episode.
seasons.
They're mentioning it now in this season because I read an article on it.
Yes, they can shit on it.
Yeah, and then they go and the shield's back and oh, the Prime Directive means, and I just took to myself, you're trying to tell a Star Trek story from the perspective of a Federation starship, and you are saying how? Just tell me you don't care about Star Trek without telling me you don't care about it by saying, oh, let's get rid of the Prime Directive. No.
You got to throw it back in their faces. So when they talk about how meaningless the Prime Directive is, be like, okay, then you should have no problem with the Europeans coming over and civilizing the natives and giving them all the fucking all the diseases and shit, right? You shouldn't have any problem with that because that's exactly what the Prime Directive prevents.
Yeah. I mean, I love to bring up these examples because it shows the fake fans and the shills for what they are. I mean, season 4 ends and season 5 starts with the Klingon Civil War. And Picard knows that the Duras are in league with the Romulans. He knows they are because of every run-in they've had with Duras before Worf ganks him, and now with Lursa and B'Etor. But he can't break the Prime Directive and simply, when Gowron asks, give us help, he says, yeah, we can't do that. This is an internal Klingon conflict. Prime Directive, can't do it. But then they managed to find a way to help without breaking the Prime Directive by setting up the blockade to catch the Romulan caravan supply run. But that's what makes it so intriguing and so interesting when a real captain has to tangle with the Prime Directive when dealing with either an advanced species like the Klingons or a lesser species that is warp capable.
Like the Mintakans.
It was warp capable, but can't do anything. I mean, it was like it was the season 3 episode where they are on the world. They're at a world. I forget the name of the world. Where they are the world where it's petitioning for Federation membership, and it's the one where they have their genetically enhanced soldiers who have been conditioned to fight.
Oh, right, and the guy
they put
breaks
them on
out
the
of
moon.
prison. Yeah,
yeah, and at the very end, now the whole time when he's on the ship, Picard has to deal with him because it's a direct threat to the ship, so they're doing that. But then when Picard kind of tricks them into confronting each other on the planet, he says, "Well, when all the escaped prisoners, the soldiers, the former soldiers surrounding everybody there, the current regime." Picard goes, "Well, you all have a good time," because the guy's going, "Please, Picard, I need security forces. You have to help us." And he goes, "Well, nope, this is your internal conflict, Prime Directive. We can't help you, and you need to sort your shit out. Bye." And but knowing the fact that right in that moment, those guys are going to not choose violence because they would die, because the whole conditioning of the soldiers is they won't respond in violence if no violence is directed at them. But it's just such clear manipulation of, not manipulation, more clear execution of understanding the Prime Directive. And Picard, I think Picard deals with it way more than Kirk did, having to deal with a Prime Directive and not fucking things up. In my
yeah, Kirk liked to get involved.
yeah. Now, of course, in defense,
very much like get involved. Yeah.
In defense, through TOS season 1, Prime Directive wasn't even a thing yet. They hadn't come up with that until almost the end. But even so, going forward, Kirk, yeah, he got involved. Picard still did his best, always did his best. And there are moments where he was forced to play his hand, like the Mintakans. You bring that up, when he is the Picard, and they worshipped him, and it's the best of a bad situation. But then again, it had already devolved by the time he got there, so there was nothing they could have. That was already a Bork situation.
Yeah, they were just doing damage control, which then, of course, spiraled out of control, and made things infinitely worse. But he handled that, I think, about as well as could be handled, and did it very well, and ended up making a potential future ally when they were ready.
Of course, we're talking centuries later at this point.
Oh yeah, no, these guys are still using fucking bows and arrows, but
yeah. Or my other favorite one of dealing with the Prime Directive is it's one of my favorite season 4 Riker Manhors, where he goes to the planet, gets caught in the riots, and he has to fuck BB New Earth to get out of the hospital or attempt to escape it. It's the pre-warp civilization who they're trying to do first contact with. God, he's such a man whore. He's such a man whore.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, even there with getting involved in internal affairs, like the episode, one of the more recent episodes that I watched was the one where Crusher gets taken captive by terrorists on this planet.
I just watched that one too.
They're at war with each other, and and then eventually they capture Picard too, and it's just like, at what point is giving humanitarian aid to one side not interfering?
True.
They had some interesting questions. That episode's a lot better than I remember it being, by the way.
But then again, the guy who was the terrorist, he still behaves in a manner that pushes it too far. I mean,
he's a terrorist.
Yeah.
And
he doesn't. There's no. I mean, now Crusher gets minor Stockholm syndrome with that one. She gets minor Stockholm syndrome in that. But there's no. I feel no sympathy for that guy, for that particular guy. None at all.
No, you shouldn't. But
I did. Yeah.
In terms of the Prime Directive,
true. Yeah.
The dude had a point. If you're giving fucking aid and succor to their enemy, then you become by default their enemy. And that does involve you, and it brings you right into the middle of their internal political dispute.
But then in his perception, he perceived more of a problem than there was, because he thought, oh, this Federation are the one demanding they capture all the citizens and run them interrogation. No, Riker just wanted to talk. He didn't ask anybody to get arrested. That is a good episode.
There was a bunch of miscommunications there, and the I forget the guy's name, but the leader of the rebels or the terrorists or whatever, he was in fact not a good person, and he stated so several times.
Yeah,
he's like, no, I will kill people, women and children. It's like, I got no issue with that as long as it gets me what I want. There's a really interesting exchange between Picard and Data at one point, which, by the way, they tried very hard not to show this part of the episode all over the internet, because it kind of it seems a little bit like, I don't know how to put it. I don't even know if I should put it. But the bit where Data is asking him, he's like, look, if terrorism works, why aren't more people doing it? And he starts listing examples of people forcing terrorism. And typically, whoever wins is how they get labeled. If they win, they're freedom fighters. If they lose, they're this kind of thing. Like, there's a very good argument to be made that the founding fathers of this country could be viewed as terrorists by the British Empire.
True, and they did, but then again, it was still, as Beverly puts it when she's arguing with him, that was a military conflict. I mean, now in my own personal knowledge of the Revolutionary War, the Revolutionary Army, the Continental Army, were not exactly running around assaulting British-controlled towns. Civilians. Yeah, it was all military, and to me, that's the difference right there. If you're engaged in military, it's not terrorism.
I don't think,
as soon as you start killing innocents, then it's terrorism.
Yeah, I don't remember if he brings them up in reference. It was something that occurred to me, but he does bring up troubles in Ireland.
Actually, Data made a reference to the Irish unification of 2020 or something like that. I'm like, wait, that didn't happen.
Yeah, no. At least they're not blowing up churches full of kids anymore. But
yeah, but you bring up a point. Then again, the show was able to tackle this stuff and do it in an intelligent manner in the 80s and the 90s, and DS9 took it up a notch, because of the idea of we're dealing with Bajor, who's a very religious state. You're bringing faith into this, into a lot of their storylines, and they executed it all really, really well.
Well, and one of the main characters in Deep Space Nine, Kira Nerys, is a fucking terrorist.
Yeah, she was.
Like, she
the Cardassians.
She did some ugly fucking shit to Cardassian settlements.
Yep, and I mean, there were some. I mean, the first Bajoran resistance we meet in the Ensign Row episode, they're only attacking military targets, but these are people who are not on Bajor. The Bajoran resistance that was still on Bajor, they did some real heinous shit to try and get their freedom.
Isn't there an episode where Kira is recounting something awful that happened because they got bad intel? And how it marked her, and how it actually did kind of steer her away from doing this kind of thing anymore.
We do get a backstory episode on that. I think it even has flashbacks, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
because you see her looking like a disheveled Kira.
There was a character who shows up that she thought was dead, who was part of her cell. Back in the day, and then they're reminiscing, and he's like, let's get back to it, let's get back to killing spoonheads or whatever, and she's like, I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah, I've gone legit here. I'm part of the legitimate government we now control, and it's funny. Yeah,
even then, you get to Voyager, right? Tuvok and Chakotay and the half Klingon chick, they're all Maquis terrorists.
Well, Tuvok was masquerading. He was full on Starfleet.
Sure, but as far as you knew in that pilot episode, he was one of them.
True.
Yeah. And they were forced to integrate, but you kind of don't really forget.
Well, you definitely don't forget, because they never give them actual pips. They all the Maquis turned Voyager crew have that weird little, I don't even know what you call it. emblem instead of pips, command pips. So yeah, they never got full. I always found that weird. I always found that weird that it maybe first 2 seasons, yes, but I always thought that by 3 or 4, maybe 5, that they should have had actual command pips at that point. I don't know.
I think the idea was that if they ever made it home, they were to stand trial for their crimes.
I guess.
Still. But the point is like terrorists are kind of rife throughout Star Trek. There are terrorists all over the place, and they tend to approach it intelligently. Like they give you both sides, and they're just like, okay, here's what they did, here's what they did. Like make up your own mind kind of thing, which I appreciate. But they never shied away from discussing those topics. Which.
Well, we talked about this a few weeks ago, and when Devin and I were talking about this one point, the Riker episode where he gets accused of murder, and he gets accused of rape during that episode.
Yeah,
she accused him of trying to sexually assault her because she made up that whole thing without anybody else there to corroborate it. I said, they will tackle these subject matter, but they did it with care and grace. And good writing. Well, really good writing.
Evil Primal Kirk tried to rape Yeoman Rand.
Yeah.
Way back then.
Well, and there's one thing I've noticed. Once you get halfway through season 3, Ron D. Moore, suddenly he goes from head story writer, and now we're in season 5. Now he's a producer on the show at this point. And of course, you see mixed in there Ira Stephen Bear, who would go on to showrun DS9, because that's I think why DS9 works well, because Ira Stephen Bear had control of that show and Rick Berman really didn't, and then that's why Berman went on to control Voyager and why Voyager wasn't as good, because Ira Stephen Bear got it, and he knew because he worked on TNG with Ron D. Moore writing all those stuff. Because at this point also he's in the credits, Ron D. Moore, head of the story group. I forget the term they use, but he was in charge of all these story groups for all this stuff from so many seasons. And when you have somebody who gets it, who understands how to write this stuff and maintains the continuity and the quality for so long, it works. I mean, hell, man, I'm even able to put aside my disgust for Whoopi Goldberg because Guinan is such a well-written character.
It's a well-written character, and Goldberg plays Guinan very, very well. She's very good in that role.
Yeah.
I was just watching the Best of Both Worlds again the other day because why not? Because it's awesome.
Why not?
And the bit where in part 2, where was it part 2 or was it the end of part 1 where she took
end of part
Riker
1, which says you have to throw that book out.
She's like, you have to leave him behind. You have to let him go. She's like, I have a relationship with him that you cannot possibly understand. It's way past family. And I am going to let him go. And I was just like, that monologue she delivers there is fucking perfect. It's very perfect. It's perfectly delivered.
Yep.
And
there is.
It's a shame that she turned out to be who she did, but so did everybody else on that fucking show. So
except Michael Dorn.
I think
we love Michael Dorn. But I'm able to put it aside at this point now. I've reached that point where I look and be like, this is the characters, and this is 30 years ago, and I can separate. I've worked very hard to separate art from artists for this show in particular. This show especially, and I've been able to do it. And the joy I found is it's welcome that I can do it and not be dragged down by it. And it's so worth my time to go back through this, because I haven't watched TNG all the way through in so long. So long. And it's worth it. Now, one of the things that I do kind of regret that they never did, they never gave us what really went on between Q and Guinan.
Yeah, that's only ever really mentioned in was it
their
Q
first it's the first one where Q throws him up against the board for the first time.
Yeah.
And then when Deja Q, when he gets depowered, made mortal,
Right. They then stabs him with a fork.
But they have a couple interactions in that one. But after that, they just go away from it. They never come back to it. And that's just pure fan curiosity. Why is Q somewhat afraid of her?
I think though that because Guinan's species are very long lived, but they're not like Q long lived, and it ain't the way that they kind of set that up later. Like, because you find out that Guinan's been around for fucking hundreds of years, but she hasn't been around for like thousands or anything like that. So her species is not, as far as we know, as evolved as a Q. They're corporeal.
Yeah.
You know, they're very present.
But she has temporal senses, like in Yesterday's Enterprise. She's aware that there's something wrong with temporal.
They're listeners. They listen to everything. They listen to the universe itself. But the events that transpired had to have happened at some point in her lifetime, because he singles her specifically out as this imp here. He's not talking about the Elorians as a whole. He's talking about her. Yeah. And so it had to have happened in there. But I like the fact that we don't really ever find out about that, because I think it.
I mean, I'm okay.
It kind of adds that era of world building, that it's a much bigger universe than even we're seeing.
I think what I'm saying is I want to know what is the full extent of her abilities. I think that's what I don't necessarily need their story. I'm just curious, why is he so threatened by her in terms of her abilities? Because when they first meet, she's going like this in 10 forward.
Well, it is interesting because the Borg are no issue for Q, right?
Yeah.
But they wiped out her planet. But he's afraid of her. It's like this whole paper, rock, scissors thing.
Yeah. Although there is that one great line from Voyager when Q has the Sun Q, and he's messing around with the entire ship, and Q finally shows back up and says, "If the Continue has told you once, they'll tell you 1,000,000 times. Do not provoke the Borg." I love that line. I do love anything Q is great. Every Q episode is fantastic, because I just did the Robin Hood episode, and that's mostly silly, but it's still good because the interactions with Q are what make it fun. And I can't get over how much fun I'm having watching this stuff.
It's good stuff. It's good television.
I am forever happy that, as I said, I reached that point where I was able to separate art from artist, and I decided to pull the trigger last year and get the complete series for Christmas, and it's been worth it. Totally worth it. Although I do hate how they stack the discs inside the case. It's everything that you got to kind of pull them up. I'm always afraid to put too much pressure on it. That even though I've never ever broken a DVD or a Blu-ray pulling it off a disc stack, I'm always afraid though. It's like, very careful.
Yeah. Well,
very careful.
It's like I'm looking behind and I see the Star Wars poster there, and you got people on there. You have in order to even enjoy the original stuff, you have to.
Oh, I've done that. Yeah.
Separate the art from the artist, because like Harrison Ford is fucking high, right? Carrie Fisher was a junkie, and Mark Hamill's a fucking retard. But that doesn't mean that you can't still love Han, Luke, and Leia.
And I see. I was able to do that 4 years ago. I found that separation for because I realized, you know what? This is them from 40 years ago, and I can look at that. And I look at it the way as one. Yeah, Carrie Fisher was a junkie, but she was a weird base junkie in her time. Harrison Ford is just an old man curmudgeon. He just doesn't give a shit.
I didn't mean to disparage Carrie Fisher. I think that
I know.
I think she was probably a very lovely person, but she did have a fucking serious substance abuse problem. And that's what
killed her in the end. That's what killed her. Yeah. And also she knew all the fucking dirt of Hollywood. She knew it all. She knew every little dirty thing. I remember hearing how people loved her stand-up, that her one woman stand-up she did, where she just talked about it on stage, and people said it was really good back in the day. And as I said, I accept Harrison Ford as he is, because he just is an old man who doesn't give a fuck and will show up for a payday, doesn't care.
Didn't she write a book called like Letters or Postcards from the Edge or something like that?
And that was made into the movie with Shelley Duvall and Meryl Streep, based upon her and her mother. Although her and her mother did have a true loving
Natalie
relationship.
Portman's in that too, isn't she?
Yes, she plays the daughter, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
I've seen it way back in the day. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Carrie Fisher, whereas Harrison Ford became the megastar and Mark Hamill became a D-list voice actor, Carrie Fisher became the go-to script doctor in Hollywood for decades. She was the one people went to fix a script, apparently. At least that's what I remember learning when she wasn't cameoing in one movie or another. So, although I do remember, I remember it was the Sally Field movie, the Soap Dish. I think that was called with Kevin Kline and Elizabeth Shue and Whoopi Goldberg and Carrie Fisher. Within that, at one point, man, she was still fit at that point. This is early 90s. She's still fit, and she's like this horny casting director, doing all the dudes that come to participate. And at one point, they walk in on the room, and she is just there, shirt open, bra out, and oh man, she still had it going on back then, dude. She was still fit at that point. Big old Carrie Fisher titties bouncing around. Listen, I have fantasies of Princess Leia in the gold bikini, so of course I'm going to tattoo a memory of Carrie Fisher in a bra on my little boy brain back then. It's not going anywhere.
Man, the scene in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back when they get picked up by Carrie Fisher's nun character on the highway, and he's like, "Well, I guess I gotta," and he tries to go down there and stuff. I'd still probably would have said yes then. Carrie Fisher had something about her that was very attractive, and I don't think it was a physical quality.
But I do remember the physical.
Oh yeah, that too. I mean,
yeah.
There's stories about the grips and shit, fighting over who got to tape her boobs down that day.
They just don't do it like that anymore. Now it's all Zendaya. Did you see that the Met Gala shit
Doesn't
today?
have boobs to tape down.
Yeah, but did you see what she looked? All of them that showed up the Met Gala. What the fuck is this?
No, I didn't even know the Met Gala was happening until I heard something about the Palestinian protesters were trying to disrupt it, and then they got shut down by the cops in like 8 minutes. Yeah.
Well, they'll bet they're quick for those celebrities, won't they?
Well, yeah, they'll let them fucking do what they want for 3 fucking weeks on campus, but you fuck with our celebrities, man, and they'll shut your ass down.
Yeah. Even though half those celebrities support their dumbasses. Mrs. Still here? Oh my God, Rhea. Oh my God.
No, I haven't watched any of that stuff. I
haven't watched it either.
That stuff.
I
penis.
Neither do I. I saw. Every once in a while during the day, I have to go through the routine of scanning the sites for stories, and I mean, at a certain point in the day, it's like, okay, I'm now scouting shit for tomorrow, and of course, I went through it, and I know you are, but of course, then they start. Then here comes the Met Gala thing. I'm like, this is going on, and I'm trying to find Zendaya just as an example. Oh, God, J-Lo, you're not hot anymore. Just an example of what they all consider hot. Right here it is. Good Lord, look at this. And of course, her movie came out right now where she's getting railed by two guys. This is I don't even know what I'm looking at, man.
Looks like one of those like little resin fairy statues you buy at a niche shop for tchotchkes. No, seriously, slap some butterfly wings on her.
Yeah, there you go. Now I see it. But I just first of all, this isn't fashion, and secondly, she's not sexy. She's not attractive.
That's on some pudgy girl who shops at fucking Torrid's, right next to her fucking incense holder.
You understand what I'm saying?
My sister operates one of those shops. That's how I know. She sells that shit right next to the dildos.
God damn it.
I'm not kidding.
Go
This
back.
is a true story.
I know you're not kidding. I know you're not kidding. I can tell. But I think about looking back at Carrie Fisher when she was fit, looked like a woman in the early 80s, all through the 80s, all the roles she did in that. And then that was sexy. And then back then, all the women looked sexy, looked attractive, looked like women. And then this is supposed to be a woman now. This chick who hasn't eaten a hamburger in 10 years, has zero female sensuality.
I mean,
This is not
how
sensuality.
old is she now?
Late 20s, I think.
Really? Because
so.
you look at her and she still looks like she's 17. You know, she still looks like she's barely of age. Like she's still got that kind of awkward, gawky teenagerness about her.
She's 27 years old.
Really? God, she doesn't fucking look it.
Yeah.
You know,
she's 27.
She looks like a gawky, awkward kid who's still growing into their body.
But she's done with puberty. She's been done with puberty. I mean, it's not like some dude,
girl.
myself included, who, puberty, I'll be honest, puberty didn't end for me until I was 28. Because it just, in terms of, internal chemistry, certain growth spurts, I didn't hit my second, I hit my regular growth spurt in the middle of high school, but then I didn't hit another one till partway through college to get the last couple of inches that taught me out at 6'1". I wish I got to 6'3". That would have been awesome. But I look at her. She's 27. She had. I don't find her physically attractive. I don't think she's particularly pretty in the face. She's okay. I don't find her drop dead gorgeous.
I think she's pretty. She's not. She's not stunning to me. But that's that.
Yeah.
I always chalk that up to personal preference.
Well, that's it. But I mean, I don't see the appeal. And then with all her weird choices of fashion, it's as though she's trying so hard to be this fashion maven, but what she wears is this weird shit, like on the Dune gold or red carpet, that weird C-3PO gold armor she wore, whatever people were making fun of her. I just don't get Zendaya. I don't get it. And right now to put her out in this movie, this tennis movie, which has earned, I think, $50 million on a $55 million budget, or maybe it's the other way around, $55 million budget. Yeah, okay, it's 55 million on a 50 million budget. It still needs to make another 100 million to break even. So it's not anywhere near reaching a goal. She's not any sort of a box office draw. Anything she's been in, other people have been the bigger stars.
Yeah, no, she's the project. Sorry, Devil.
Yeah, it's the difference between what fans want and what they try to push on us. You'll have an actor that gets a bunch of work because that's what fans want to see, and then you get the actors that get a bunch of work because that's what the Hollywood elites think we're supposed to want. They think we're supposed to want Zendaya, some innocuous race girl with no boobs that kind of is not really attractive at all. When what guys really want and what the audience really wants is some very
Sydney
well
Sweeney.
Yes, exactly.
Sweeney. I'm going to I'm gonna cleanse our palate then, because I just as comparison.
I think with this Met Gala shit, don't they like contract out to specific designers and shit? Like they get
all the celebrities go to a designer and say, put something on me.
All right, so Sydney Sweeney was at the Met Gala too. Here she is at the Met Gala. All right, let me get this open here. I didn't know she was there. So let's just have an image. They were both there in things. Now, this isn't exactly I wouldn't call this a great dress, and I don't think it's actually doing Sydney Sweeney any justice, but there's still more femininity. Come on, damn it. There's still more feminine. Oh, wrong freaking screen. God damn it, every fucking time.
I was gonna say that.
There we go. There's still more femininity coming off of Sydney Sweeney. Huh? You like the dress?
Yeah. No, I don't like that dress.
No, I don't like the dress.
No, I don't like anything any of the people wear.
I don't like this dress at all. It's really, it's doing her an injustice.
But
Now,
she's still very feminine, very,
well,
like you said, good looking.
that's a very pretty face, and you can see her figure, even though, again, this is toning down her boobs. But
That
we can go
hairstyle's not
back.
doing her any favors, though.
Well, that she's wearing a wig there. I think she's wearing a wig. I mean, unlike right here, this from a few short weeks ago. Now that.
See, that's some like Greta Garbo shit from back in the day. That looks good.
That's classic. That's classy right there. That's classy hot. And she's got the body for it. You know, she can wear a dress like that.
Mm-hmm.
And she's very, very excited right there, as we can see.
Yeah, I mean, I could see Marilyn Monroe or Grace Kelly wearing something like that back in the day. I mean, Grace Kelly would, you know, it was actually a fairly modest woman, but, you know, stunning. Or, you know, Audrey Hepburn, who incidentally was just as skinny as Zendaya, but still managed to come off like a girl.
But she had curves. She may have not had a big bust, but she had curves. And she also had charisma. Had a lot of charisma.
Well, she carried herself like an attractive woman. I don't think Zendaya knows how to do that, and it's not a knock against her. I just don't think she was ever really taught how.
Well, she's a Disney kid.
Yeah,
she's a Disney kid. So that could, I mean, I'm not saying.
So he probably just treated her like the boys and fucked her in the ass after they drugged her.
Allegedly.
Sure. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Well, hey, it's my channel. I'll protect myself. But I mean, just you look at Zendaya and then you look at right now who this is right now, for all intents and purposes, Sydney Sweeney is the poster girl for femininity right now. For the past, I would say 8-9 months. Ever since I'm sorry, it's only been, wow, Madam Web was only 3 months ago. Felt like 8-9 months ago. That says something. For the past 3 or 4 months since Madam Web in February, Sydney Sweeney has become the ideal feminine figure that men are praising and celebrating, because she did. She's got a very pretty face. She's got a rockin' body. She has charisma right now. She's handling all the media and fan interaction with some positive attitude. She doesn't say anything
class.
bad. Yeah, class. I'll agree with you. Class. She doesn't attack the fans. She goes out of her way to be gracious with the fans. She doesn't. She even puts out things like that thing where she's apparently working on a car. It's like, yeah, hey, I'm a hot chick working on a car. Don't you like that? It's like, oh, yeah. For some dudes that does. For me, that doesn't do it because I don't give a shit about cars. But I appreciate her existence right now, both in a physical nature and because this is how we want to see, for lack of a better term, our attractive celebrities. Smiling, promoting their stuff, giving us no indication of what's on their mind outside of, I hope you like my movie and don't you like my big ass tits. She wore a shirt a week or so ago that said, basically, I'm not ashamed of my big tits or something like that. It basically said
that I'm sorry that I have great tits.
That's it. Yeah, there, you got it. Nice, thank you for catching me there. So it's just, she's in on the joke. She knows she's a fucking knockout, and she's playing along. She's not going, oh my God, the male gaze. I'm so offended, and all these men are jerking off to me all the time.
Yeah.
No,
give her about 15
she's
years.
Well, I hope not.
Because a lot of the women who are bitching about it now used to do the same thing.
No, ScarJo, you're right, ScarJo.
Yeah.
Back when they're all beating off to you, it's fine. When they stop, when they don't care about you, suddenly male gaze is bad.
Off the ScarJo. That woman's got a great body.
She did get a boob reduction though, didn't she? They look smaller than they used to. That famous red dress picture. They seem.
I don't know that was necessarily a surgery. That can happen with
weight loss,
significant changes in body and all that. She's had a kid since then too, and that can change things. You know, it alters the hormones, which alters certain things. Like my ex-wife, she started out with like a solid B cup when I met her. By the time we had split up, she was at a D, and she's 6 years older than I am. You know, so at that point you'd think that it would have balanced out and all that, but we had a kid in the meantime, and there were some other changes and stuff, and she went up and down sizes several times and all that. The boobs don't stay the same size all the time necessarily. So that could have been any number of things. It wasn't necessarily a surgical reduction.
Well, I go on that image and I go on. There was this one movie where she was the girlfriend that some guy was cheating. It was like one of those multi ensemble cast sort of 90s relationship comedies things.
Rom-com?
Yeah, not a rom-com, but more like the serious. There's no comedy to it. No, it was like everybody was screwing around. Anyway, she was in that one and she was in a bra in that one. And they just looked, I remember them looking so huge in that movie. And that's just boob memory. And I'm like, yeah, they look smaller now. I'm just gonna be on. Now listen,
that could have been movie magic too.
Yeah, petted.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But listen, I would not throw ScarJo out of bed either. Listen, let's just make that clear.
Oh, she's a very attractive woman.
Yeah,
and she's got a great laugh. That's actually very hot.
Yeah, yeah. But what I'm saying is, at the moment, Sydney Sweeney's playing the game right. She's playing it like they used to play it 60 years ago, where you just smiled, you did your job, and you kept your mouth shut. And if you looked pretty, you looked pretty.
Yeah, I'd never even heard of her until a couple of months ago. I had no idea who the fuck she was when people started going off. And I was
heard
like,
about her.
Why should I know who this person is, and why should I care?
I had heard about her last year for one reason or another, and of course, then I went and saw her boobs from that Euphoria show. I'm like, oh, hey, that works. And now here she is, and she seems to just be playing it smart. Like I said, she's playing it smart. And listen, I appreciate every inch of what we're seeing here. And
she's kind of shaped a little bit like young Mimi Rogers.
Ooh,
she's got kind of similar lines.
I think I see that. Mimi Rogers, massively packing heat. Massively packing.
Also, very good actress.
Yeah, I remember from that horrible Lost in Space adaptation, and they managed to strap her into that form-fitting plastic top, and they're in there. Dude, they're in there.
She was in a movie called Full Body Massage where she's naked pretty much the entire time.
Yeah. But it's right now. I want them to. My whole point for this, I want them to go back to behaving like this. Behave like this. I don't need to know your TDS. I don't need to know anything. Just let me enjoy your features, your body, your pleasant charisma on screen and in interactions, and then leave it there. Don't get on social media. Don't talk about shit. No nothing.
It doesn't even have to be political shit. You remember when Megan Fox, we were all just staring at her and she was just stunning, and then we found out that she liked to wear Billy Bob Thornton's fucking blood in a vial around her neck.
You mean Captain Man Thumbs?
Yeah. Dude, I wasn't looking at her thumbs until much later. Somebody pointed it out to me way after I'd already
I've never known
billions
about this,
of my future children in a sock.
I've never heard of this. I've never looked at her thumbs.
Check the pictures out. She's
got big toes for thumbs.
Yeah, it's like such a hot chick for having man hands.
Oh man.
Yeah. Also, her nipples are in weird places.
I've only seen her in body. I've never actually seen her. She's never gone nude, has she?
No, but there's a pretty good. She did a
body paint
poster.
Supergirl body paint. Yeah, that's the closest I've seen. Well, I wasn't.
Yeah, but her nipples are oddly placed.
Huh. I guess I wasn't paying that close attention when I looked at that picture. Mine was in a different place. But I just you're right. It's I want. Listen, I don't want my fat material ruined. I don't want. I want things to be normal again, even though I know they're not going to get normal. We are going to get far from normal in the coming months. And I just, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Fuck it, I'm done. Well, yeah. That was a weird tangent away from Star Trek, huh? That was a weird one.
I
mean, all right,
boobs.
Boobs. Anyway, all right, we're over 3 hours. Let's wrap it up. It's midnight. All right, thanks to Devil and Samuel as always for joining me. Devil, what you got on Get Ranked this Sunday?
We are gonna do the X-Men villains list if I can get the people together. If not, then we'll probably do the candy bars. If I can get everything together. It's been hard to get the shows together. Yeah, and check out all my other shows, including I'm starting up doing actual videos here soon. When
Nice.
a gal gets done with her hiatus, we're gonna start doing Devil's Angels. We're gonna do movie reviews of old hidden gems, movies you probably never heard of, but you should because they're really, really, really
I heard
good.
of most of those you listed last night. I did hear of most of those. I know. I think about at least 3 or 4 of those. I knew those.
Yeah,
Then again, I've seen too much shit.
we're probably gonna start off on Manhunter. And
You've been so hot to do that one.
I have for so long. Anyway, so
hey, if do it yourself, that's the thing. No one's gonna do it. Do it yourself.
That one's
I
got
don't
Brian
think I'm
Cox in it,
entertaining.
doesn't it?
I believe so. Brian Cox, you gotta remind me who that is. I'm not good with names.
I think he's the guy who plays the agent, not Lecter. Oh no, maybe he does play Lecter in that. Brian
The
Cox
British
was
guy?
the guy who plays. Yeah, the one who
played the uncle in Braveheart. That guy?
Yeah, and then he was in X2
Yeah.
as
Super
as Stryker.
Troopers, plays the
Yeah.
head of Super Troopers.
And he just shot his mouth off about something recently. So
yeah, he plays in that. He plays Lex. He plays Lex Luthor. Going back to the Superman. Yes, he plays in that. He is in that.
Yeah.
William Patterson plays so well as Will Graham, though. That's it. Just his acting in that's so good.
All right, so check that out. Devils is going to start the grind. He's going to start the video grind. You'll do it. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Samuel, what's coming up this week?
After this, I've got Abyssal Musings on Friday night at 9:30 p.m. Mountain Time with my co-host Lawrence Knight. Possibly Know Me Without You if she deigns to grace us with her presence this week. And we'll see what else is coming up. And then we're kind of going through like a cryptids phase. So each week we're talking a little bit about, like, last week was Nephilim, week before that was werewolves and Sasquatch and that kind of thing. So we're kind of bouncing around there. We did a whole 3-episode unit on jinn from the Middle East, which was kind of fun. Also, sometimes we have quizzes, so if you like quizzes, and then about double. When are we? Are we moving to the other time?
Shit. Not yet. I would say not yet. But we will be eventually.
So so about an hour after Abyssal Musings, I'll be on Devil's Channel for Beelzebub, which is 1 a.m. my time Saturday morning. And then about 13 hours after we're done with that, back over to my channel for Screaming Into the Void, which Devil is also. We're so. How did Sasquatch put this? It's incestuous.
Yeah, we're like perfect strangers of YouTube.
Yeah. You also find me over on Exiled Lioness 2 Gal, doing moderation and back end producerial stuff. So
excellent. As for myself, tomorrow there'll likely be some more Stellar Blade over on my gaming channel, Renaissance Art Arcade. Wednesday, Natural 20, if I can muster up some anger about something or find some stories that I won't generally cover on other streams. Throughout the rest of the week, whatever videos, things happening, takes, we're coming up. Review season starts this weekend, where after, of course, Ballbusters, 11 p.m. on Friday. Jed and I are back Saturday Night Drive-In, 6 p.m. Eastern. We're starting our celebration of Star Wars for the month because Real Star Wars Day is on May 25th. So leading up to it, we will be watching the prequel trilogy. We're starting with Phantom Menace this Saturday. We will be joined already by Clifton 3D. He'll be joining us to watch that. And then after that, Dermy and I will be reviewing Doctor Who, Shooty Gatwa, season 1. because it's a season 1. They're just starting all over again, thanks to Disney. So we'll be doing that live streaming on both here and on Dermy's channel. We'll be doing that every weekend for the next 8 weeks. There'll be a little bit of the time shift. I think we're going to go at 8 o'clock. I'm thinking about it. I want to give myself enough time between drive-in and start time there, considering the guests we're going to have, probably more than one guest for the Star Wars prequel trilogy. So expect 8, maybe 8:30 this weekend, the following weekend, and then the weekend of the 25th. It might be a little earlier because I still want to get my Star Wars Day celebration stream in, and that's kind of the back end of the day. So there's that. Anyway, so we got that's all going on Saturday. Driving with Phantom Menace, Jeremy and I reviewing Doctor Who, and then Sunday roundtable 2 p.m. Eastern. Well, we will discuss the week's events, and then be right back here next Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern, for another Mellow Mondays. Thank you both to Samuel and Devil for hanging out with me. Thanks to you, the chat. We love you. We appreciate you. You guys are the reason we're able to always keep doing this stuff. Your support is essential, and we thank you for it. Hit that like button. Subscribe to everybody in the links below. And before I bobble another word, I'm going to say good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.